The opinions expressed by tonight's guest do not represent the opinions or position of Spaced Out Radio, syndicated carriers, or anyone associated with SOR Media. Listener discretion is advised. Here at Spaced Out Radio, we are about to take you higher. Broadcasting from the Rocky Mountains of Colorado to you listening around the world. This is Spaced Out Sunday with host Tessa Nicole Thomas. You can follow Tessa on our Facebook page at Spaced Out Radio, on Twitter at Tessa TNT, and you can subscribe to her YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio for the archive. But we break on command 'cause women rule the world. Buckle up, space travelers. Let the countdown begin.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's time to go for a ride with host Tessa Nicole Thomas.
I'm such a lucky guy, 'cause after all this time, it's like the deeper I go.
Good evening, Spaced Out Radio. Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a Rocky Mountain high. Get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners and settle down snugly at mile marker 419.99 in colorful Colorado. It is Sunday, May 13th, May 14th. For those of you on the East Coast and beyond, this is Spaced Out Radio. Hope you had an awesome day, Mother's Day, and even better evening. I am your host, Tessa Nicole Thomas, live from Bayfield here in beautiful Colorado. We are 150,000 strong nightly on SOR Radio Network, spacedoutradio.com, Spreaker, and we are also live on the Fringe FM. So make sure you check out the amazing program at thefringe.fm. Don't forget, head over to our website, spacedoutradio.com. You can peruse the Spaced Out Radio store and read the encounter online, dealing with everything strange, paranormal, and odd. You can also check out some great videos from Tim Doyle from UFO Seekers and Leslie Mitchell Clark's Contact TV. Tonight I have a treat for all you guys and gals out there. Tonight we'll be getting to know and be speaking with Mea Savge. She is a psychic for Four Corners Paranormal Investigations, and she's got some incredible stories and experiences, and I hope you guys really enjoy her. Mea, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much, Tess. It's such a pleasure. I'm very excited.
So you were telling me you had an experience at home this evening as far as the flashing?
I did. This was about, I will say, somewhere between 45 minutes to an hour ago. What I do, I'm clairvoyant. That means I see things from my chakra, information that's basically downloaded. I don't typically see things visually as often, though I have. I don't, that's not something that I typically see, but I saw a big flash of light, kind of just fly through my house. And I know it's nothing of mine. I know it doesn't belong to me. So I don't know whose it was or where it came from. So I'm kind of excited to find out. I'm sure I will find out either during the show or afterwards. That's the way that goes. But very interesting.
Did you get any feelings off of it as far as good, bad, or just in between?
Absolutely. What it was just making its presence known. It said, I'm here. So, it was just here. I would say it would be more on the good side. I definitely didn't get a bad energy whatsoever. It was more like a soldier ready to go into battle. That's a bad analogy, but it was just like basically making its presence known. It was just a light being that came in real quick. So it either maybe belonged to someone or maybe myself, but typically I don't see my own, so I'm assuming it belongs to someone else.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I actually had an experience not too long ago. I was doing security at the fairgrounds, so it had to have been about 2 weeks ago, and I'm sitting in my car and I'm listening to Art Bell and his show, and all of a sudden I hear this boom on the right side of my car, and I look in my rearview mirror. I don't see anybody or anything. I thought maybe my husband was trying to mess with me. And then not even 2 minutes later, boom, on the left side of the car. So I'm checking out all my rearview mirrors. And then I'm looking in front of my car. I got the headlights on at this point, and I see this shadow figure, and it looks as if it's running towards the car, but it's kind of breaking up. As if it was like a TV screen with distortion and lines going through it. And I was like, holy crap. So I didn't have my protective tourmaline on me or anything like that. So I said a little prayer, and then of course I got out and smoked a grape cigar, and I didn't have any fear at all in my heart. But I did see like dark orbs flying around me. And then when I got back in the car, there's this white orb that's flying around my face. So that was pretty awesome. I've heard that darker orbs are just earthbound spirits, nothing really dark or anything like that, but yeah, that was a pretty interesting and epic experience for me. And then you have this light entity come into your house. That's pretty awesome.
It's very interesting that you said that, because I had a very, very similar experience not too long ago. I think it was either before or after one of our investigations. And I was in my car and I was at the stoplight, off the 160, going towards Bayfield, the first stoplight. And all of a sudden I stopped, and it felt like my foot had slipped off the brakes or someone had rear-ended me. And at that time, I was seeing a lot of orbs, and it was very interesting because it felt like my car was just being pushed. And you can feel that's not a positive thing to feel, and it's a negative energy, it is of some kind. But I found it very interesting that it even had the power to do that. You were probably going into someone else's force field or something. And when you're intuitive, like I know you're very, very intuitive. So it's like when you're sometimes going to other people's force fields, like, you go into a public place, you kind of just go into somebody else's bubble sometimes. It's like that negative, whatever entity, energy, whatever, sometimes can literally sideswipe you or rear end you almost.
Yeah, and like you were saying, it did move the car. Like, when it hit, I not only heard the hit,
yes,
but you felt it.
You felt it.
Yeah.
Yes, and I almost thought I took my brakes. I was like, I actually thought my brakes gave out or something, but my foot was clearly on the brake, and I didn't move an inch, so it just takes you a second. It just knocks you. Like, I know exactly what you're talking about, definitely.
Yeah, it was really weird and kind of unsettling. But I did see the dark entity, and it was kind of breaking up in my lights, like I said, like lines through it as it's running towards my car, and it looked like a football player, like going in for the tackle or whatever. But after that, all I saw were the earthbound orbs, and I really didn't fear. I didn't have any fear, and maybe that's why everything went so well. I was like, the dark entity, like the shadow person, was kind of scary, but the dark orbs didn't worry me.
He was trying to get you.
Yeah.
He was trying to get you, but you're so well protected that it's like getting bit by an ant or something, or stung by a bee, pretty much. It's like he couldn't penetrate your bubble, but was around you, and it was a very strong energy. But since you are so like you know how to protect yourself, so it wasn't able to do anything. And I think even for most people, I think most people are protected, but they just don't pick up on things like that for the most part. They probably wouldn't have felt it at all if they weren't open enough to feel it.
Yeah, I try to.
In fact, it could have linked onto them. It could have latched onto them, and they would never know because they don't have the protection. It just wasn't able to. It probably just hit your bubble.
Yeah. And I try to tell people that during investigations and cleansings, etc., you're more powerful than this being. It just wants you to think you're not, and it wants to feed off your negative energy, your fear, your anger, whatever's going on. So don't let it do that.
It's like inviting a vampire. I was actually watching what is that movie? I just lost voice. I love that movie. I was watching that last night, and it's like the head vampire. The reason why he was given so much power is because he had an invitation. If you give something like that an invitation, it has more power over you. If it knows it has no invitation, you have to open the door in order for something to really grab hold, and anything negative to take control of your life or try to take control of you or whatever, possession and what's all those other negative things.
Yeah, and Dan in Spreaker is saying, so was this a Walmart shadow person? No, it wasn't. I was doing security at the fairgrounds, and we've done it year after year for the last 12 years, and this is the first...
What is a Walmart shadow person?
I don't know, maybe a generic shadow person?
Oh, okay, so just like okay, I know what you're saying. So, okay, so like I would consider that we went to the river, and we saw that shadow person that was hiding behind the tree. Remember him?
Yeah. Yeah, I got a picture of him.
Yes, I remember. It's a great picture too. I remember. I think that's more just a negative ghost rather than an entity, if you will.
Yeah, what I was picking up from him was he was inebriated when he died in the river, and he's kind of lost still. Like, he doesn't know how to get out of there. He's out of the river and up in the park at least, probably 15 feet away, but he's still kind of stuck there. So maybe it's taken him a while to get through that. But since we're on that topic, I have here psychic attacks. What exactly do you know about that?
Whew, more than I can even fit into a conversation, and I will just make that brief. Psychic attacks happen for more than one reason. It's one of them, I will say, is curses. If there's someone around you and you're not protected, and you're unaware of what's going on, and you just wonder, why do I drop everything? Why do I fall? Why does everything bad happen to me? Part of that is your thinking pattern, but a lot of it sometimes can be, and this happened to me for like years, and I had no idea that someone around me that was close to me, like a friend of me, if you will, she was into some dark magic, and she actually put a curse on me. So I would consider that as because it wears on your aura, and when you have holes in your aura, it invites, it's like a domino effect. It invites more things to come in. So especially if you have someone close to you that's a manipulating person, they may not even know it. They may be just wishing you harm, for long extended periods of time, and it actually, you're able to manifest as a human being things over time. That's just the way our brain works. And so that's one type of psychic attack. Another one, there's multiples. Another one would be, they have these, like, I'm not sure what the term is. I know that when we had a meeting, they came up with a term for it, but they're like parasites. And when you're already weak in some form, emotionally, you've had bad things happen to you, you have a curse or something, negative around you, or say you live in a house that's haunted, then these parasites can come in and they feed off of your unhappiness. And they're really hard to get rid of. They're extremely, and the only way to really get rid of them that I've found, I mean, I've tried absolutely everything. I've talked to the best psychics. I've talked to, I've tried everything, holy water, Native American ways of getting rid of them. They're just so hard to get rid of. Once you're sad, they feed off of it, and it just continues, like a domino effect. And for me, I would actually physically feel them. So those stupid parasites are ridiculous. And little by little, they suck out your life. They keep you in this depressive state. And a lot of people have that going on, but they're not aware enough to know what's going on. And the only way to really change that, and it's wonderful, is just to be happy and to create happiness and to give as little attention as possible. And then, then there's actual haunting attacks, which you can consider to be psychic attacks. And then there's also extraterrestrial, what I would consider to be psychic attacks as well. And I think that has that's another form of what I like to call the parasites. It's hard to explain, but I think that there are some extraterrestrials that are here and that are not so nice, and they can make you feel like you're crazy, which is the biggest psychic attack of ever. And for a lot of people who are intuitive or whatever, the biggest psychic attack is to feel like you're actually nuts, because the goal of the negative is to make you feel like you're crazy. And, some people get put on meds. Some people actually do go crazy. I actually watch these YouTube videos of people with schizophrenia who are in institutions. And I like to, schizophrenia is a real mental disorder, but I think part of it is also not quite a mental disorder. There are some people with schizophrenia who are completely sane that just have had negative things happen to them. And they're like psychics gone wrong, kind of. If that makes sense. If somebody, 40 years ago says, okay, I'm seeing things that aren't there and I'm hearing things that aren't there. I mean, you're going straight to the happy house, and you're going to have, wires connected to your head, and they're going to shock therapy you, and they're going to make it worse, or they're going to make you completely catatonic.
Yeah.
So there's multiple ways of things. Psychic attacks is a very wide, I've studied books, all kinds of, like I told you about the Hope, what's his name, Wild, the Hope Diamond thing. That was something I opened the door to. That was something that I opened the door to, and that was probably one of the scariest things ever. So I took a picture of the Hope Diamond when I went to the Smithsonian Museum in DC, and I knew nothing of its background, nothing at all. And I noticed I couldn't sleep for my entire trip there. I was visiting my aunt, and this was about 2 years ago. And then I got home, and then I felt like there was a demonic presence on top of me when I woke up, like sleep paralysis, but I felt like I was fully awake. And I've had sleep that happen multiple times. So I fought it, and then I finally I went on to the top of my stairs in Arizona, and I said, I've dealt with it 1,000 times, so I knew halfway that it wasn't real. But I said, okay, so I'm going to jump off these stairs, and if I hit the ground, I will be dead, because I can't take this thing attacking me anymore. And then I said, if I wake up, then this is a dream. And then of course I jumped off the stairs in what I thought was real life. And I woke up and I realized, okay, something is wrong. And then I had like my guides tell me something about this diamond that I took a picture of. So I go on my phone, I delete all the pictures, and then I go and I did my research on the Hope Diamond, because I heard it was cursed. I didn't realize that it had actually made people go crazy and kill themselves in similar ways too, and kill others around them too. And I'm like, wow. And it must have a serious curse on it. There must be what I would consider, I think there's an actual demon attached to it.
Yeah.
So I did something it didn't like. I opened the door by taking a picture. It's just like looking in a mirror. Taking a picture is like a mirror, almost. So I opened that door without even knowing it. And I've been through some crazy stuff, and I thought I learned my lesson, but that was wild. That was intense.
Well, Mea, in the chat room, Yeah, and I know when I go on investigations, I'll try and ask, is it okay if I take a picture? Generally, that makes it better. If you don't ask permission, then they feel insulted. So I can see that. And but in the chat room, we have people wondering who you are. Can you tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Okay, so I was born in Phoenix. I come from, well, my dad actually used to be, he used to do tarot, and as did my mom, so from both sides. I would consider my dad to be like the magician card in the tarot deck. A little mischievous, but completely magical. I remember seeing the Phoenix lights in 1997. I think it was March 13th, 1997. I was a kid, and I saw the Phoenix lights when I was in the swimming pool. I actually lived right next to South Mountain growing up, which is an area that's supposedly on the flight path from like Area 51. It's like and there's a whole nother thing about the whole Phoenix thing and aliens coming to Phoenix, blah, blah, blah. So that was like my first kind of UFO experience. My mother also did tarot cards. I believe my grandfather on my father's side actually gave her a deck. He was a pilot, and he actually said to my mother, asked her if she believed in UFOs, my grandfather on my dad's side. So this is my dad's dad talking to my mother, and he was a very good pilot, very, very, very good flight instructor. He knew how to fly, like everything. And he asked my mother if she believed in UFOs. So he, as a pilot, had apparently a lot of experiences, and I wish to this day that he was alive. I'd love to have a conversation with him, like a real conversation with him about some of the experiences he's had with like the Bermuda Triangle and whatnot, because I hear he had some stories. My mom's a very gifted psychic. We both kind of developed our abilities together. I think part of what happened is we had our, what I call NIA, that's natural induced awareness. It's kind of like a bloodline thing. We both had that. And then we had a whole lot of paranormal experiences happen in this house at the same time, which opened us even further. And that can happen. You can be a closed-minded person, and then once you're in a house that's haunted, you open up pretty quickly. And then, your abilities develop a little bit more quickly. So we both had similar experiences growing up in that house, or I was growing up. She was my mother, obviously. She has abilities that I don't have, but she's a very good tarot reader. I would say I'm kind of no, I wouldn't say novice. I've been doing it for a long time, but I'm not like amazing at your basic deck. My dad, he could actually read tarot cards from a regular deck of cards from what my mother told me. I never saw him do it growing up, but he was amazing. He's deceased now, but I have had a lot of experiences from UFOs to psychic attacks to, I couldn't even tell you how many things happened to make me open up. It wasn't like a lot of mediums and psychics. They say, I would talk to ghosts as a child. I saw a few ghosts as a child. Yes, I did, but it wasn't like the way a typical medium describes it. Like they've always seen ghosts and talked to them and this. It wasn't like that. I think I was more pushed towards the awakening, which I think everyone is kind of being pushed towards in this day and age. We're all being pushed to the way where we're all supposed to be broadening our awareness and opening all of our minds and our, connecting with each other and with other worldly things. I think we should all be kind of unified at this point in our evolution. But yeah, that's me, pretty more or less.
So you're talking about tarot cards, and I've heard from different people in order, because it is a gift to be able to read them. Not everybody can do it. Do you believe that tarot cards should be given as a gift, otherwise they won't work correctly?
I think it helps if they're given as a gift, because I think that, for instance, people in your life sometimes are brought to you by the deceased loved ones around, your spirit guides. So I think, and we're all channels. So if you get tarot cards as a gift, it's not necessarily the person that gives it to you. It's that somebody is out there that's not here on this realm is working through that person to give it to you as a gift. So I do believe that it's enhanced. But if you already feel that you talk to your guides and your spirits and all of the people around you, and you go buy a deck of tarot cards, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's a way that you're going to communicate with them, I use it a lot of what I do is use it as a form of communication. You know, I don't like to, you know, use it as foresight into the future, though sometimes that will happen because there's no sense of time in the other world. You know, tarot cards is just like, you know, I don't want to say a Ouija board because that's horrible. It's like, you know, it's like using a computer or text message. Just like, it's just a way to communicate with the people around you and the spirits around you that are good. So if you feel like that's something you want to do in your heart and your soul, then do it. But I mean, as a gift, I think it's almost better, because that means that something or someone is working through a person to give that to you as a form of communication.
So earlier when we were talking, you were telling me about something that I haven't really heard of. Like, I've heard different notions of different people's spiritual abilities, but you put it into terms DIA, TIA, and NIA. Can you explain that to our guests?
I can't believe you remember that. Yes. So when my mom and I were going through all of this craziness and we were starting to get away from all of the darkness and craziness around us and the hauntings, we actually spoke to a very, very gifted psychic. Her name is Coffee. I don't have any of her information. She kind of stays off of the grid. So I would totally give it out, but we met her one day and it was like I had already met her before. And that's a whole nother thing to get into. I used to have dreams like 2 weeks before I'd meet a person. And I got to this point where I would write it down in my journal and be like, okay, I'm going to meet this person. And then by the time I forgot about it completely, I'd actually meet them. And so she was one of those people, and her name is Coffee. She was an amazing psychic. She taught us a lot of things. So she actually helped us protect ourselves, and to the point where my mother and I started working together to figure this stuff out. So anyway, so we came up with this abbreviation of different types of awareness, and one of them is NIA, so that's natural induced awareness. It's like the Maybelline, maybe she's born with it type of thing. And I think everyone's born with intuition. You know, it's like your gut feeling. It's like, you know, it's just, you just know, you know, like intuitively, if something makes you feel uncomfortable, you know, it's not a good place to be. And everyone has that. And it can also be passed down. Some people have it more than others. But you have to actually trust in it to like develop it, to bring it from your subconscious to your conscious and actually decide to trust that intuition, you know, or your clairvoyance. Some people just know, like, that's kind of what I work on. It's just kind of like a download of information constantly, like from your, what they call it, crown chakra is I guess what they call it in that form. You get just like information and pictures from spirit or higher vibration, whatever. Then there's TIA. TIA is trauma-induced awareness. I would explain that, describe it as near-death experiences or possibly hauntings, traumas, any type of major trauma that happens that just opens up, I don't know, some type of channel in you. Abductions is another thing. You know, so a lot of people who are abductees will say that they have had it happen more than once, probably because they are open to it. Something has been opened. You know, there are people who are probably abducted and they have no idea. That's a whole scary thought, but we won't go there. but once it's open, once that is opened, you can choose to like completely suppress it. And that's what I hate, is when people like have, these near death or these traumatic experiences, and, they'll drown themselves in, drugs, alcohol, or just completely close it off, work, whatever, and completely close it off. Or you can choose, and then that creates things like, depression, mental diseases, whatever, things. It's just not healthy. If you have a trauma-induced awareness experience, embrace it. And, it's trying to open you up. It's trying to be like a good thing, not a bad thing. If it didn't kill you, it's going to make you stronger, obviously. So just like go with it. And then the other one is DIA, which is drug-induced awareness. And my mother and I, we call that like halfway there. Like the Bon Jovi song, but not quite. Like halfway there, living on a prayer. Just kidding. But it's when people decide that don't really have any. They're not quite spiritually evolved. They're kind of what I would call like kind of underdeveloped, and they dabble with psychedelic substances. They think they somehow like cheated and skipped a couple levels, and now they feel like superheroes, but they're never going to get further than like halfway there. Most of them, not all of them. And I'm not saying like some people are totally into that, the psychic, and that's totally fine. I'm saying if you use that and you think that's the only way to get there, they'll continue to use that, and they'll become dependent on that just to feel awake. Or it's like the hippie movement, people who experimented with obviously LSD and whatever, like, so some of them, they just get stuck there and they never actually fully open themselves. You talk to them about ghosts and they're like, no, but I know everything. Like that's, but like if you're not open to, the other side, then you're not there. And I think life is a journey, and I think people can be more than one. I think, it's definitely possible to have more than one. I have at least 2 of these that I'm for sure opened me up. One is like the natural, and then one is like, kind of like the near death or like traumatic or hauntings. Hauntings will open you up. And so I think that people who've lived in a haunted house, if they go to another house, they may not even know it, but they'll go in, this is just regular, normal, like, what do they call them? Muggles. Like they'll go to a house, and after being in a haunted house, and they'll know this other house is haunted, and typically they'll just naturally say, "There's something I don't like about this house," and they don't buy it. I don't know what it is.
It just doesn't feel right.
and I don't know why. I don't bathtub for some reason.
Well, I know we were talking about it before, and like I've tried acid, I've tried mushrooms, and all it does is enhance the brightness of the colors of the trees and all living life forms, and it makes me smile so much that my cheeks feel like they're going to crack off of my face, but never, and I've been so jealous of it, and that's probably why I don't delve into these things, but never have I had, the tree talking to me or the walls melting or some entity coming to speak with me, and everybody's tripping off their butts, and I'm like, why am I left out? But I think it's because, I'm a different one, which is,
you're already there. It's not going to do, what it's going to do for muggles.
Yeah.
For you, it's not going to do that. That's all it's going to typically do for you. And I've had a couple experiences though, but it was like a lot of it is the people that you're around. I did have an experience with mushrooms where I was at this party, which was like a 3-day party in the woods with the generator, DJs, whatever. And I had a very close friend there who was able to identify some mushrooms that were just growing in the forest. And so me and him and a bunch of people were taking them. But what had happened was the elk were eating them too. And the elk were just hanging out with us, eating these same mushrooms for like a day. I mean, they were like 10 feet away from us. And, they were eating those exact same mushrooms that we were. They had their jaw. Oh, I just saw another light. How crazy is that? That's awesome.
Yeah.
But you could see like their jaw kind of vibrating, which was ours were kind of doing the same thing on these mushrooms. I'm not sure what strain it was. I was young. I was
It's the
like
cow.
17 something.
It's the cow dookie strain. I'm just kidding.
Well, the elk dookie strain, but,
Yeah.
they were on these same mushrooms that we were, and it was just a magical experience. It was like we looked at them and they looked at us, and we're like, hey. And they're like, hey, we're eating the same shrooms, and we're like, oh, yeah, us too. You know, we and it was kind of a magical like oneness with nature, and that's probably as far as my psychedelic experience has gone. But that was a very, very, very positive experience.
Weren't you talking about like on Pocahontas, the mother tree?
Yes. That was the very first time. I did take mushrooms for the very first time, and I did have like the tree and Pocahontas experience. But the funny thing is this is before any of my very serious haunting things happened. This was before, stuff got very real in the haunting and spiritual development phase. So I was still very underdeveloped spiritually then. You know, like I'm not going to say I woke up and spoke to every ghost in the room. I'd see them occasionally, but it was an experience where I actually saw my life in this tree. It kind of like told me my life, which was interesting. And it was very, very interesting. But this was before I was more developed. Once you become more developed, and I was also very young. You know, when you're young, chances are you are spiritually underdeveloped. You know, people, they say old souls, but even if you're an old soul, you still have to develop these in this life, on this plane. You know, you have to still develop them. So at that point, and I think that's another reason why I don't do that type of stuff, is because that one experience was so amazing. I couldn't top that if I tried. Why would I try to top that? It would never happen.
For sure.
The tree pretty much showed me my life pretty much, and was like telling me all this crazy stuff about like just. It was crazy. Like that will never happen again. And it doesn't matter how much I would ever do it, or who I'm with, or where I was. But I was underdeveloped. So I understand why the DIA people, why they're, they don't delve into these other planes of existence naturally. So when they do it, it's like when I did it then, it's like it's amazing to them, because they're like, wow, you know, I feel alive, you know.
So have you found that what Mother Tree was telling you has come to pass, or has it changed in any way?
Well, that was the other thing. Part of what Mother Tree said, it was like I was talking to her on another level. So it wasn't exactly showing me my life on this earthly realm. It was like telling me what I'm here for in a way, but not in a way with words. It was just kind of showing me, like, you know, telling me I had something to live for, telling me I had a long path, telling me, you know, and it was just giving me reassurance. It was just an experience that gave me reassurance, because at that point I was just a lost, dumb kid. I didn't know anything, you know, so it was just it's hard to explain. It wasn't showing me, like, I'm sure and it was so long ago. This was 15 years ago plus, I don't know, maybe even more than that. I have no idea. It just kind of it was a very peaceful experience that will never ever happen again. It was meant to be. Yeah, it was, you know, the psychedelics, and part of it was also possibly like a spirit guide coming through as well. That was necessary at that time in my life. That's possible. So yes, you can use those things to, you know, open your channels. If you're already open, you can dabble in those things. I have nothing against that, but it's like the people that are not open at all, and then they just do those things, and then they feel like they're on top of the world and that they know everything. They can't, and then they become, you know, reliant on those things to open themselves up. That's kind of like the DIA thing. There's always exceptions. Like I said, though, you could be all three of those, you know, NIA, TIA, DIA. You can be all of the above. And I would consider myself pretty much like all of the above. But it's the people that, you know, it's also your environment. You know, if you come in a repressive type of environment, it's kind of hard to evolve. You have to sometimes wait until you are 18 and get out of the house, or your religion, or not religion, but
Belief
circumstances.
system? Yeah.
Belief, there we go. And circumstance and belief system as well. Yes.
So, people are talking about it in the chat room. Do you think any of these natural substances such as mushrooms, peyote, marijuana, are those harmful, or do you think it's more of the man-made substances?
There are some man-made substances, and this is actually very interesting. I was looking at this online actually last night, believe it or not. And LSD is a man-made substance as well. And, there's a lot of positive and negative feedback on something like LSD. And then, mushrooms, I'll say that mushrooms have been around for a long time. I'll say the only thing about that would be that, there's ones that can kill you, for one thing. I mean, marijuana, I think that, marijuana is a wonderful thing for a lot of people. And I think that specifically CBD is a wonderful thing for so many things. It's like, it's amazing, anti-inflammatory, anti-seizure. There's so many wonderful things about that. Man-made substances, I would say it would depend on the substance. But like I said last night, though, I was watching this study on ketamine, which is something that's been around for a long, long time with very little side effects. And they were working on people, and I actually know a person, very, very close friend of mine, who gets ketamine injections from a doctor now, which are very expensive, by the way, now. But I think that would be way better than an antidepressant. I know people who have taken antidepressants and tried to kill themselves, after taking them. People that would never do it, they just got prescribed it, But something like ketamine, which is basically just a sedative that they've used for an animal tranquilizer forever. It's works for people with depression, pain problems, and nerve problems as well. So I would have to say it would just depend on what the substance is and who you are as an individual. And that like for instance, for me, I can't drink a beer, but red wine is something that it lowers your blood pressure. It doesn't ever make me sick. I never drink it in excess to where I have a hangover. But drink 3 beers, I get sick. It could be the gluten. I have no idea. But I think it's just all individual. I'll say, if anything, I'm definitely pro, nature, obviously. If it comes from nature, it doesn't always mean it's good. Rattlesnakes are from nature, but I mean, there's a chance that if it's been here long enough, it's trustworthy. If it's an experiment that people created, I don't trust people. So
yeah, people are scary. I trust the people here in Speaker Chat. It's like another paranormal family. We have our own paranormal family with Four Corners Paranormal Investigations. And I love having our monthly meetings. I think we should do them every weekend. I wish I could attend that. But yeah, I mean, people are scary. There's a lot of scary people out there, and yeah, it kind of freaks me out to go out in public. But as far as the antidepressants, I know acid was first made for an antidepressant, kind of an investigatory drug, and they used it for quite a while. Some people had good effects, some people didn't, and then I can't remember the guy that ran with it, but I heard that he made the best strain. But personally, I was put on, I believe it was Prozac for depression after I was raped, and I was trying to deal with my depression as I had in the past, and it wasn't really working for me like it used to. I wasn't able to fix myself, so I went on to a doctor to try to help me, and she's like, well, this is the first drug that they made for that, so let's put you on this. And at first I Yeah, at first I slept for a week, and then after that I felt great, and my mother-in-law was like, oh my gosh, like, she came down the hallway and she was smiling for no reason at all. I think I just lost Mea. Mea, are you still there? Okay, I gotta get her back. Okay, you're back.
I totally lost you. I'm so sorry about that.
No worries. We got you back really quick. But yeah, she's like, Tessa came down the hallway today and she was smiling for no reason at all, and it's so great to see her smile. But then it quit working for me, so I quit taking it, and the doctor says, don't stop taking the medication. Sorry. Don't stop taking the medication unless you come and check with me first. But I did, because I'm hard-headed about doctors, and but I refilled my...
Why would you listen to one individual, that could have gone to school anywhere, and they know, only you know your body.
Yeah, and I quit taking it, but I refilled my prescription just in case I had any negative effects, and everything seemed to work out fine. I'm fine now. I don't have to take any antidepressant drugs, and that makes me really happy, But I know, they're trying to help people, and different things may help certain people, but other things may harm someone. It's pretty scary what's out there, and this world we're in is pretty hard. What do you recommend for someone that's naturally trying to fight depression? Do you have anything to add to that?
Well, okay, here's a huge thing, which is very interesting, and it's something and it's kind of funny. I actually learned this a few years ago. I was kind of in a depressive state, and the weirdest thing is sunlight. Vitamin D is one of the biggest natural cures for depression. And if you notice, a lot of people, if you're depressed, you don't want to be around people. Usually you have somewhat of an anxiety as well. And the last thing you want to do is be outside or, hang out with people or whatever. I still have a little bit of my antisocial moments where I don't want to be outside. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to go anywhere. But actually, if you spend about 15 minutes to 20 minutes in the sun, just lay out by yourself. That's like nature's antidepressant right there. Obviously, exercise, but when you're depressed, the last thing in the world you want to do is exercise. You start exercising and you're like, oh my gosh, I suck. This sucks. And you give up, and then they say, take an exercise class. That's easy. But if you can't even get out your door because you're way too depressed to even make it to your car, and the thought of going and being around a bunch of strangers in a room like me, like I hated going to the gym. To this day, if I have a gym in Arizona, that's a beautiful gym, Lifetime. It's one of the best gyms in the world, right? Whenever I'm here, I go to the Bayfield gym. I feel comfortable because there's no one there. It's a tiny little room, It's like the size of my living room, my kitchen put together, and I feel comfortable there. If I go to Lifetime, even though they have all the amenities, all the classes, and they're all included in the membership, I never end up going, and it's a waste of money because it's just there's too many freaking people. And so if you're depressed, especially, you don't want to be around all those people. So the best thing is go out by yourself. Just lay out in the sun for a little bit. That's it.
I have to say, I have done the gym thing, and I wait really until the Biggest Loser thing comes along, because if I have to answer to other team members and they're counting on me to do what I need to do, then I do better. But if it's left on my own recognizance, I'm gonna fail. I have to have somebody else.
Yes. But you're not depressed though. If you have depression and anxiety though, you can't even get those team members. It takes a lot to get out the door. That takes bravery. But yes, but in general though, when you have like a group to fall back on, you start going to those yoga classes and you start knowing those people and the instructor. Heck yeah, it's easy. You're flying high. and it really, really does work. But when you're depressed and you can't even get out the door, go lay in the sun.
And I have to say, out of all the highs I've had in my life, nothing beats the high of doing a 45-minute elliptical training and getting off. Like, that is the most amazing high I have ever had. It releases those endorphins, and it's freaking epic. But yeah, that's pretty awesome. And that is a good way. Like, when you do exercise, it does release those endorphins, and it does help to heal your depression. And in the long run, the more you work at it, the more it's going to come into play. And also, if you're working out, you're going to try to eat right. If you're eating all this crap that you get from the store with all these ingredients, you don't want more than, like, let's say 6 or 9 ingredients in your stuff. Otherwise, it's doo-doo. Like, a lot of countries don't even... Yeah, a lot of countries have outlawed our food. Like, they don't allow it. Because we have so much crap in there that's killing us. And we're like, what's happening? Why are we all dying so early? Well, it's because of all the stuff we're putting in our bodies. Yes, it's easier to throw this in the microwave and eat it. But on the other hand, it's better to eat, the fresh stuff and stuff that you make on your own because you know what's going into it.
I 100%. And that's, that was another big deal for me. When I was going through those psychic attacks when I was younger, my mom wasn't a very good cook. She didn't really like to cook, and she was disabled, and I didn't know how to cook because I was young. And so I was eating a lot of crap, and that really does, not only does it, when it impacts your physical body, like people are like, oh my gosh, Mea, you've lost, some people from Arizona are like, you lost weight, and some people even say, like, you're too skinny. And I'm like, all I've really been doing is, I live on a ranch and I make food. Like, and I didn't do that pretty much for the first 20 something years of my life. So if I lost weight, and it really has nothing to do with other than I've been living life like what we're supposed to be doing. Like, I'm out with my animals during the day. I'm out and I make my own food. Not to mention, as you well know, driving to the grocery store from where we are takes quite a while to get good food. I mean, no offense to the Bayfield grocery store. It's wonderful.
Oh.
It does.
Do not shop there. Do not shop there unless you want to die.
Be nice. Be nice. Be nice.
Oh, I have lived here
for our town.
I've lived here for 14 years, and I'm so glad we have $2 stores here because I don't know how many times I've bought rotten meat or meat that's
I know.
It's red on the outside and brown on the inside.
Inside.
Yeah, how do you even do that? Like, I don't even understand.
Frozen.
I think they redo it or something. I'm not sure, but it's pretty nice. Yeah.
And it's so expensive. I go in there into the produce section and I look around and I'm like, okay, nope. I guess. And then I just told her, okay, well, I need let me just cross my fingers. Like,
you should just go to Durango and get your stuff unless you're hurting for certain. But yeah, my running joke is they must have gold in their stuff because a lot of it that I've bought is expired. Even the gas drops I bought for my godchild that I was watching, and the mom came home and she's like, oh my God, these are expired. And I gave them to her because she was crying because she had gas really bad. And I'm like, wow. No, but it's
I
not
remember you telling me that. And there was something else that I bought too from there that I'm like, are you serious? Like, the expiration date on this is like, okay. And then there's like bread too. I'm like, bread. I'm like, this expired like 5 days ago. This bread has been expired and I'm supposed to pay like double the amount like for this bread. Yeah. But that's serious problems. That's not just Bayfield problems. That's everywhere problems.
Well, I have to say, this isn't a dollar store issue. This is the Bayfield grocery store issue, which they were the only running thing until the dollar stores came in, and thank God for the dollar stores because now I can shop and feel comfortable.
I agree.
But let's take it back to a psychic note. We only have a couple minutes left before we have to go to break. Is there anything else that you wanted to add or share with our group?
everything I want to add to the group. I just want to thank them and thank you, and basically, watch what you eat, and, get some vitamin D, even if it's hard to get out of your house. I know how depression goes. I know how medication goes. If you're one of those people out there where they're using like a lab rat, just know that these drug companies, that's what they're out there to do, is make money. So
yeah, and I'm sorry, you guys, if we got into this depression field, but we just had a junior high schooler commit suicide this last week, and the numbers in La Plata County are epic. Do you know the numbers right now, Mea?
I think it's insane. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's actually Ross, my fiance, was at the funeral the day before yesterday, and he asked if I wanted to join. And I probably should have, but I just didn't think my first funeral should be for a 12-year-old kid, considering, and the fact that I didn't really know him, it just didn't feel right. But I felt it about 2 weeks before. I felt the day that he decided to do it. So I will tell you that that kid had actually predetermined that before it actually happened. Something set him off, but what is the numbers though? What is the numbers?
I believe it's around 78 now for La Plata County.
I was going to say 80, so I was so darn close.
Yeah.
So darn close.
Have you had any experiences living right down the road from him? Like my daughter, Nova, she went to school with him, and she said he was such a sweet kid, but everybody made fun of him because of his teeth, and he had braces, and he was trying to fix that, and he was dealing with issues at school and possibly at home, according to what I've heard. But, I'm just going to send blessings to him, and then we're going to go to a commercial break, and then we're going to come back and meet Corrine. I hope you stick around for that, Mea. And then third hour, we're going to get into some live readings, so you guys hang on to your shorts. We'll be right back.
Absolutely.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for some great nightlife? The Moose Vancouver is the place to be. Catch a game on one of the big screens, or just come rock out to your favorite 80s and 90s hair bands. Great food starting at $6.95. The Moose Vancouver is open until 2 a.m. nightly. It's easy to find near the corner of Nelson and Granville. The Moose Vancouver is the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new, with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Coming September 28th to the 30th, it's our first annual Caribou Paracon, put on by Spaced Out Radio and the Canadian Society of Questers. 3 days of paranormal, supernatural, and spiritual knowledge in the beautiful 108 Mile Ranch, British Columbia. Tickets are $150 Canadian for the event, being held at the Spruce Hills Resort and Spa. Come watch our featured speaker, Grant Cameron, along with Lorian Fenton, David Weatherly, Ross Allison, and more. The Caribou Paracon, celebrating everything paranormal.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Hey Space Travelers, it's Joe Roop, your host of Spaced Out Saturdays. Come join me as we explore the realms of the paranormal, the esoteric, and everything in between every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. You know the truth is out there. Don't get caught sleepwalking. Come join Spaced Out Saturdays. That's every Saturday night, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, right here on SpacedOutRadio.com.
365 days a year, we're in the field, investigating UFO sightings, talking to alien abductees, and visiting secret military locations like Area 51. We're UFO Seekers, official partner of Spaced Out Radio. Follow our daily search for the truth at ufoseekers.com or like us on social media. Catch us on Spaced Out Radio every third Monday of the month as we discuss Area 51, UFOs, and more. And also, don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube.
From coast to coast to coast, Blacklight Uncharted is taking on the paranormal across Canada. From ghostly hauntings to the UFOs flying above in conjunction with MUFON Canada, we're closely investigating what's going on in the northern skies and checking out the apparitions that walk among us. Check out our videos right here at spacedoutradio.com. We want to know your thoughts, we want to hear your experiences, and we want you to share your stories. The answers are out there, and we intend to find them.
It's paranormal news at its finest. Welcome to The Encounter. At spacedoutradio.com, The Encounter Online is SOR's trusted news source for everything weird and strange going on around the world. This is news editor Eric Markham. Our team of journalists are scouring the planet for those strange stories that rarely make the mainstream. No fear-mongering or fake news here. Head over to spacedoutradio.com and encounter The Encounter.
Want to learn more about aliens, cover-ups, conspiracies, cryptids, and the paranormal? All you have to do is tune in S4 as we take over the Spaced Out Radio night, starting at midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern, each and every Saturday night, right after Spaced Out Saturdays. Hi there, this is Eric Cooper from Forest Moon Paranormal. Join me, Corey Ruiz, and friends as we discuss the hot topics of the night. It's fun, entertaining, and as dark as the night. Find us at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you an experiencer? Have you had run-ins with strange creatures you can't explain? ETs, Dogman, Bigfoot, werewolves? They're enough to scare the daylights out of anyone. Hi there, I'm Butch Witkowski from your 4-Cop. And on the last Monday of every month, you can listen to me and the host, Dave Scott, talk about the weird and the strange being reported on Spaced Out Radio. I'm going to bring my investigations and sources, you bring your experiences, and we'll figure out the rest together. Strange Days on Spaced Out Radio. Come tune us in at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you interested in advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Head to our website at spacedoutradio.com and click on our advertising tab. There, you will find an assortment of ways you can get your product out there with us, from radio commercials to banners and social media. Have a product you like our hosts to endorse? We can do that too. Visit spacedoutradio.com for more details.
Looking for nighttime adventure? Old school radio that delves into everything out of the norm? Then check us out at Spaced Out Radio. This is Dave Scott. Every Monday through Friday, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, we're going to take you on a wild ride ranging from conspiracies to true crime and every ghost, alien, and Sasquatch story in between. We're always live, and we're always interactive with you. So join us at spacedoutradio.com, where together, we own the night.
Tonight's show and topic of discussion do not necessarily reflect the opinion of Spaced Out Radio, SOR Media, or its hosts. Listener discretion is advised. It's hour number 3 of Spaced Out Sunday with host Tessa Nicole Thomas. Follow Tessa on Twitter at Tessa TNT. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. Now back to the Rocky Mountains. Here's Tessa.
Welcome back, everyone. It's so great to have you in tonight. And right now we have Corrine De Winter, and she is an awesome psychic as well as poet. Welcome, Corrine. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Tessa. And I just have to say congratulations on your new position at Spaced Out Radio. And you're doing fantastic so far. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited, to be a part. Like, I already felt like I was a part of the Spaced Out Radio family, but, now I feel like I'm a bigger part. I've been helping as much as I can with YouTube and booking and all this other stuff. And I was so surprised when Dave asked me to come on as Sunday host, and I kicked it around for a day or two, but yeah, I'm totally amped to be here, and I'm so grateful that you came on. It's great to talk to you again.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
So when when you and I first met, it was when one of your shows was replaying, and I was listening to it, and I found so much comfort in your voice, and I felt like I knew you already. And then you gave me a reading that evening, and you had said something about a bird, which was odd because earlier that day, there was actually, well, it was 2 days earlier, there was a magpie that landed on my sidewalk roof, which is lower than my porch roof, and I was out there smoking, and this magpie landed on the sidewalk porch and was just sitting there, like, looking at me sideways, you know how they do with their eye on the side, and staring at me, and I was talking to it and walking closer, and it just sat there and stared at me. And I was like, wow, that's weird. Why are you not budging? Because usually they'll fly off right away. And I was like, well, maybe this bird wants some food. So I threw some dog food out in the yard for it because they would get into the dog food all the time. And it just flew away. And then 2 days later, which was the night I talked to you, there was actually a robin at night, which is weird enough. And it landed on a string of lights above my head and just stared at me, the sideways stare again. And during the reading that you had given me, you had told me that it was my mom. And that was pretty cool. She was trying to get a message across to me and telling me basically that, you know, even though my mom and dad fought all the time when I was a kid, they didn't carry that over to the other side, and they were happy, and all that's over there is love. And then she threw some other things in there as far as colors and stuff like that. But I have to say it was the greatest reading I've ever had in my life. And that's why I wanted you to come on tonight, because I would love if somebody else could have that experience as well in the third hour.
Oh, gee. I mean, that means so much to me. And, you know, Tessa, I don't remember when I give people readings, they're like, well, do you remember you told me this? And I'm like, I don't remember anything. Because, you know, and I have to say, like, I got my certification for psychic medium, like, last year, just last year. And, but of course it's a learning process always. We're always learning how to connect better with spirit. And I'll say sometimes I amaze myself, other times I'm not so amazing. So hopefully I can help someone tonight, you know?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So we were talking earlier, and I was so interested when you told me that you had experience with the Warrens, which are, in my mind, big people as far as paranormal studies and cleansings, etc. What can you tell us about that?
Okay, so there's so much to say about the Warrens. Okay, so you know, of course, Ed died a few years back. And, but before they got really popular, I would go to their house. And one time I went there, and of course the Paranormal Museum that is attached to their house was there. So we go into the museum, and of course I'm sitting in this chair, and who's next to me in this glass enclosure is Annabelle. So, you know, the doll, you know, so I'm like, so, and they're like, don't even touch the box. And I'm like, oh my God, right?
Yeah, let's sit you right next to Annabelle. That would be a great place for you to sit, Corrine, but don't touch.
don't even look at it, right? How about they didn't say that? So anyways, then we watched videos that they had taped, and there were these cases, Tessa, were so freaking interesting. And of course, one of them was about Annabelle. And we all, I think all of us know the story of Annabelle. She was actually an oversized Raggedy Ann doll. Nothing like the Hollywood version in The Conjuring, which made her look like Chucky, the doll.
Yeah.
But anyway, so, and this is where, and I have to emphasize this is where a medium can do a lot of damage if she doesn't know what she's doing. So the reason Annabelle was able to take hold of these two gals. Now, okay, so let me backtrack a second. So one of the girls got the doll as a gift from her mom. and the mom had got it at a Goodwill or something like that. So, the girl would treat the doll like a human being. Like she'd sit it at the table for breakfast and talk to the doll, so on and so forth. So then the doll started doing some strange things, such as when the girl came home from work, she was a nurse, Annabelle standing in the doorway. A doll standing
Creepy.
there, right? I know!
Oh, jeez. I'm moving.
So then they got a hold of a medium, obviously not a very good one, because the medium told them that it had the spirit of a 6-year-old girl named Annabelle who died by getting hit by a car in front of their apartment. Now, so then Lorraine went on to say, this was no 6-year-old girl spirit in the doll. And it, in fact, was something, a really negative entity. And so anyways, but you see how that mediumship reading really damaged them. So then the doll went on to slash the girl's boyfriend because the boyfriend didn't like the doll and he threw it across the room. And he went to take a nap one day and he wakes up and he's got slashes all over his body. And I know this sounds incredible, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so they took the doll. I don't know what all happened, with the girl, the nurse. I'm not sure. But anyways, that was one incident. Another incident was, this was so freaky. So this town that is not far from me it's actually called Warren, Mass. This gentleman lived there named Maurice Theriault. Now, Maurice had the education of a 5th grader. He thought he had always been cursed in life. Don't ask me. I'm not sure why. But he always thought he was cursed. So his wife noticed, I guess one day noticed that he was outside working in the fields. He was a farmer. And then she saw him sitting down in the next room. So he was capable of bilocation. Not that every evil person is, capable, or I'm sorry, not that every instance of bilocation is evil, because certainly it's not. But the gentleman could also pick up a truck with one hand. He had superhuman strength. And so what I'm seeing the video of when I'm there, and this is a time when it's just VCR footage, okay? So it's just, you can't really screw around with that back then.
Yeah.
And so Maurice is sitting there and they're giving him an exorcism. During this exorcism, Ed Warren actually had a coronary. And so you see Maurice on the camera. He's got a white T-shirt on. There's blood, to me it looked like blood stains appearing and disappearing on his white shirt. Oh, his forehead is bulging out. He's sweating profusely. His face is beet red. And they're trying to do, so obviously the exorcism did not take hold because a couple weeks after the exorcism, he ended up shooting his wife and then killing himself.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that was a really, oh my God, a wicked case there. There was so many cases that we reviewed. There was another one, and actually it's in the town in Connecticut where the Newtown shooting was. It was in Newtown, and the Sandy Hook case that you guys probably have heard of, or a few years back. That happened. This boy was out in the woods. He was like a teenager, and he happened upon this statue that looked like driftwood, but it was in the shape of a devil. It was about 6 feet high in the middle of the woods, and he just thought it was very unusual, kept walking, and then he ran into this old man. the old man was wearing a what you would consider a priest wear, like a sort of like priestly vestments, but on the right side of the front of his vestment was a cardinal. So now what the boy happened upon, the teenager happened upon, was a devil worshiping faction that was centered around that statue. So in the museum is the statue and also a painting portrait of the leader who was the old man with the cardinal on his vestment. So, I mean, it's just like there's all these cases they investigated so many things over the years. But I love Lorraine. Lorraine's still with us. I think she's not doing too well. She's probably in her 90s now, I think. And Ed was, a lot of people, Tessa, now kind of crack on the Warrens and say that they were full of crap. And especially about the Amityville horror, which they also investigated. So they find fault with a lot of the cases that they worked on. I think Ed was a showman. He really was like a showman. But I also believe that they did witness these things. I mean, a lot of this is on video, like the voices that they went to England to investigate something over there, and they filmed this spirit talking to them. Now, this wasn't just an EVP like me and you would hear now, right? Like you can't even discern what it's saying. Yeah. This was a clear, rough voice, and I get the chills even thinking about it, but it was a clear, rough voice, and the voice is like, I was a soldier. And I'm like, oh my God.
That's totally creepy. What kind of soldier talks like that?
Yeah, right. It was yes, I think the Warrens, the son-in-law is taking care of the museum now. I just saw Renee's question in the chat. Their nephew is John. Oh God, why am I not thinking of his last name? He's a haunted collector guy. What's his name? John. Jeez. You know who I'm talking about, Tessa?
Yeah, and I'm so bad with names. I'm sorry I can't think of it right now. I can Google it, but yeah.
I can't remember his last name. Darn it. Go ahead.
Well, I know he's been taking care of it, and he still does, the weekly, or is it daily, blessings over the doll. Is it weekly or daily? Oh, God.
I don't know, man. Zappis. Zappis. That's his name. John Zappis. Yeah. Thank you, Sam. I'm not sure what he does, but I know that Tony Spera, who is the son-in-law, he's married to their daughter, Ed and Lorraine's daughter. He conducts like the tours and stuff now, and we'll have get-togethers. In fact, I think it's coming up, some event happening with them, with Lorraine, although I don't know how much Lorraine can really add to anything now, but I'm
really
anyways, it's just so interesting.
Go ahead.
Well,
I was just going to say I'm really surprised how long she is living, because dealing with cleansings and these dark entities on a regular basis, like, it really does take a lot of energy and soul power from you, and sometimes it takes hold of you. And for her to still be alive for this long, she really has to know what she's doing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And one of the things I remember Lorraine telling me, which I think is so interesting, and it kind of plays into what you and Mea were talking about, schizophrenia. And I agree with Mea, is that schizophrenia isn't always an illness. Sometimes it is a possession of sorts. So Lorraine told me once she was in New York City, she was on the Bowery, and she saw this homeless man sitting there, kind of hunched up, against the wall, and he had his shoes next to him on the sidewalk. And she heard a voice that said, "You can't do anything for him. He's mine." And, from that, I'll never forget that, because it really says so much about mental illness. I'm not saying everyone that has a mental illness like schizophrenia is possessed or taken over, but it certainly seems to be, more prevalent than perhaps we realize.
Yeah, and like you were saying, there's certain things you can tell, like the face turning red, even their facial features will change, and when they are getting a blessing or cleansing or whatnot, they can get sick to their stomach, and it's just a very strange thing. I had an experience with that my last cleansing, and it actually took me out of a couple of investigations I was doing, because the night of that cleansing, as I was taking off my clothes to get dressed, I had my tourmaline in my pants pocket, not even thinking about it, let it drop to the ground, and I would say almost immediately, but it was at least an hour later, I totally, my husband said, a switch went off, and somebody else took a ride in my body for 3 hours. So that's why I took myself out of the next 2 investigations and cleansings, because I felt like I was not whole. I could not go because I was compromised, and that would not be good, not only for myself, but who we're trying to help, and also for the team, So I let them go on their own while I stayed at home and just took notes of what was going on. But yeah, I mean, you got to be careful with that stuff. And I was tired when I went and did that cleansing that day, and I didn't do my regular things. Like usually I do my St. Michael prayer. That's one of my number one things that I do before I go into a place, but I didn't feel like this place was that bad, and I just let my guard down. And I've learned, no matter how I feel about the situation, I'm always going to do the steps that I need to do to get through it, in order for something not to take a ride in my body again, because it wasn't pretty. I woke up behind the wheel of my car about 3 miles away from my house, and I'm like, where am I? Where am I going? I need to turn around right now and go back home. And I did. And everyone was locked in the master bedroom. And so I just slept on the couch and let the night go. And the next morning, my husband came out, and he was not angry or anything like that. He was legitimately concerned. Are you okay? I know that wasn't you. It was like a switch went off and you were somebody else, and I don't ever want to see that person again. And the monetary value of what happened that night on my account was not good. There's so many things of my own that I have to replace, and I would never do that. Especially my camera. No. I'm always taking pictures of the sky and stuff, and my photography is so important to me, and for me to break my camera like I did, that was not me. That was something evil that took a hold of my body. And the funny thing is, this house was right in the backyard of a Catholic church, if you believe that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I still wonder what the crap was that took hold of me. But yeah, it was pretty freaky. And so it taught me a lesson of, protecting myself and not letting my guard down no matter what I'm going into. Do you do anything?
Exactly. Now, yes. And I want to mention something that I think is kind of important. Okay. So we're traditionally told to use sage to clear negative energy, correct? But someone who I know that I'm very good friends with, who is one of the best mediums ever, she told me that Spirit told her that sage will get rid of all energy, good and bad. And what you really want to use to get rid of only negative energy is Palo
Santo.
Palo wood.
Palo
Santo.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yes, that's what you want to use, Well,
what I've learned, and I grew up in the Four Corners area around a bunch of natives, and so a lot of the energy that is here are ancient natives or modern day, and scientific studies have proven that sage turns the negative ions positive. So I'm not so sure that it gets rid of all energies unless you're commanding them to go. But yes, I do use the Palo Santo after the sage around all the doors and windows. And I love the smell of it. It smells so good. And even if I'm sitting at home and I get this wave of anxiety, I'll just light it up real quick and waft it around and smell it, and it makes it go away. I mean, it's amazing, this Palo Santo, aka Holywood. It's pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah. So that's interesting, what you heard about the sage. I mean, perhaps it's true. But so what I do is, like you're talking about prayers, I pray, God, I'm praying all day long. But I mean, so you just, the whole bubble around yourself, the protection, Tessa, you know as well as I do how important faith, and I mean, I'm not just talking about faith in Jesus or Mary or anything like that. Faith, period, is so important when you're dealing with stuff like this. I mean, if you don't, like, I know Lorraine, for instance, her faith was so strong, is so strong. So, I mean, I think that you really got to have that faith, that you are, you're protected, and like Mea was saying about, the chink in your armor, right? Because Lorraine told us that a long time ago, too, that if there's a chink in your armor, they can kind of work their way in there if they want to. But, that's why these stories that I've heard from departed loved ones of people that they there's this book, I'm just going to tell you this. There's this book I read called Spirit Faces by Mark Macy. Now, Mark Macy is a big ITC guy, and he talks about a place beyond called the dismal realm, okay? This fascinates me. He says in the dismal realm, it's kind of like what you would call, it's a level very close to Earth. And some people, of course, don't want to go on toward the light because they think they don't deserve it, or they feel guilty, or they're just maybe addicted to something and, you know what I mean, just don't want to go on. So in the dismal realm, there's bars and, things like this, like gambling and...
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's so bad. It's this whole different addiction.
So
that
he
takes
says...
hold.
Right, but Mark Macy says that a lot of these people they'll go to a bar on Earth and wait for someone to get really drunk and they'll step into the body because they want that feeling again, which freaks me out, right? I mean, doesn't that give you the shivers?
Yeah, and I've actually experienced that in the past before 2012 when Dylan Redwine went missing, and we all knew his dad killed him, but nobody could prove it. But we knew because we had talked to Dylan on the other side. But I used to frequent the Billy Goat Saloon, and when I would go in there, like something would just take hold of me sometimes and just go haywire. But they look for that weakness, and that's why they call it spirits. They wait for you to drink a certain amount or whatever you're delving into, and then they'll jump in and just so they can feel that experience again. Do you find that true?
Oh yes, definitely. And so I had this gentleman on my show. I have my own radio show, and his name's August Goforth, and he was talking about how him and his lover on the other side, who he wrote this book with, the lover on the other side, his name's Tim, said that what we think are our past lives are really spirits impressing on us their own memories, which I found kind of interesting. I'm not saying we don't have other lives or haven't had past lives, but that's an interesting conjecture, don't you think?
I do. It is very interesting, and I had heard stories about it, and I wasn't so sure until I experienced it myself, and I think they do hang out in places like that, whether they were regulars or someone nearby that used to partake at home, and they're like, well, hey, where's an easy place to find someone that does that? Well, let's go down to the Billy Goat Saloon, and let's see who we can find to take a ride in. There's so many people to choose from. But yeah, it's very interesting how that works. I mean, I think once your guard is down or there's a little niche in your armor, they find that little way to weasel in, and then they do what they'd like, It's pretty crazy.
It is. But I mean, you know how to protect yourself. Obviously, anyone in the field that you're in needs to know that very well. And you learned your lesson. Unfortunately, it was uncomfortable for you. But, I mean, it's just, it's important for all of us, really. Even if you're not going on paranormal investigations. I mean, just keeping, your all of your beings, all of your bodies, because we have like several bodies, of course, keeping them all in the Christ light. I'm big into the whole Christ light thing, and I have to say, I mean, it's like, to me, that is very powerful. Even the traditional Catholic prayers are very powerful, believe it or not. I think that they are. And, but I mean, yeah, so you want to keep yourself in the Christ light and just, really have that faith, that nothing can touch me, unless I invite it in, so that's just been my experience,
Yeah. And that to me, faith, intuition, but faith, number one, you have to have that faith and that trust in yourself that you are stronger, because you are. And that's what I try to imprint on people. You are stronger than this entity that is trying to tear your family apart, that's making you angry or sad or whatever you're feeling. You're more powerful than this dark entity, and what it wants you to do is to be mad or sad or whatever, just so it can feed off of you. Fear is a big thing that they feed off of. If they're getting a rise out of you because it scared you, it's like, yes, now I have dinner to eat off of. And they do prey upon us and our weaknesses. But the most important thing, and people laugh at it all the time, I see it in the chat room, I see it everywhere. Faith, what's that? Blah, blah, blah. It's faith that you are stronger than that, and that you do have that Christ. Like I do believe that as well. You have the light of Christ or God within you. Everyone does. Everything that God created does. The grass, the flowers, the trees. I believe everything does. But you just have to have faith in that, and you have to build upon it and know you're stronger than that dark entity. So have you...
definitely.
Have you had...
Because we are, like you just said.
Yeah, we are, and people just doubt themselves so much, and it's easy for it to whittle away at you and make you feel weaker and weaker, and like you have no control, and you're going crazy, and something's wrong with you, and really there's not. It just wants you to think that so it can feed off of you. What better way to do that? But
right. And Renee's saying in the chat, not everyone. I'm sorry. I think I'm on a delay. I'm sorry about that, Tessa.
No worries. Go ahead. Renee was saying.
I was going to say, Renee's saying in the chat room, not everyone believes in the Christian faith, though. Yes, you're right. Not everyone believes in the Christian faith, and I'm not saying you have to surround yourself with Christ light exactly, but there's light out there. There's light for everybody, no matter what you believe in. So just surround that, whatever you trust more, and surround yourself with that, is what I'm saying,
Yeah, definitely. You got to know that you're more powerful than this small, tiny little dark entity that's making you think it's so big and bad. And whether you believe in God or some other creator, or God or goddess or whatever, pull from that and build your faith on that, or build your faith upon yourself, and know that you are stronger than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a quote in my car.
We are God. We are God.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We're all little pieces of him. And like I was saying, I have a quote in my car that you are powerful just so long as you know how powerful you are. And that's on my visor in my car because sometimes you do feel weak and small, and sometimes you need that little something to get you over that edge, but always know that you are stronger than that dark entity or whatever is trying to take control of you or tear your family apart just to feed off of you or your children even, you know. You just have to know and have that faith not only in something bigger than you, but within yourself.
And that's hard for many people to do. Of course, we know that, right?
Well, yeah, because some of us were raised in abusive families and people tearing us down from, you know, small ages, and whether it's, you know, your parents or your significant other or one of your friends or whatever, like people feed on that. Not only dark entities, but energy vampires is what I like to call them. Have you had any experience with those? Energy
No, I
vampires?
have to say, if I was, not really. I mean, certainly there's been people in my life that have sucked the life out of me.
Yeah.
But I mean, not anything that was alarming or scary to me. It's just like, no, okay, all right, whatever. Go your own way, I'll go mine. Just leave me alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I haven't really had any experiences like that, you know. But I wanted to ask you, Tessa. Now, we were going to talk about heaven and hell a little bit, even though it's such a huge, wide subject. But do you believe in a hell? Do you believe in a hell?
I do, and I'm not sure exactly what it is. I think maybe it's what we create in our own minds. As we were talking about before, the belief system is so strong, you know? So maybe what you believe in this life is what happens in the afterlife. And maybe that's why so many spirits get stuck here. Such as, and I bring her up all the time, Kate Johnson from the railroad station. She was stuck on that immigrant car since 1860 something, because her fiance got stabbed to death by the brakeman, being she was a working girl and she had been with the brakeman and the fireman. Well, the brakeman found them together and stabbed her fiance to death. And she felt like, had she not been there, this would have never happened. Come to find out, she was Catholic. I wasn't raised Catholic, but I do believe in a lot of their things, and I do have faith in it. But because of her belief, she was stuck there on the immigrant car until, believe it, out of all things, a Catholic school class came in and said a prayer of release from purgatory. And her energy, herself, was all gone for about 3 months. And then because of free agency, which I believe wholeheartedly in, we all have it within ourselves, free agency. It's a gift bestowed upon us by God or a higher being, whatever you want to think of it as. She came back to help Emmy, which was a little girl ghost that's stuck there and was being bullied around by the brakeman, who is there as well. So she did come back, although she was released, but now she's free to move about the place. She's not just stuck in that immigrant car, sharing her experience over and over and over again until somebody finally heard it, which was us. But yeah, I do totally believe in heaven and hell, and I believe that it's all in your belief system, your mind, and you create your own, which she did, and which others have, and that's why they get stuck here.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Tessa, that's exactly right. So when you said just now that what we believe is what we experience, that's exactly it. Okay. So say I was a real jerk in life and I'm Catholic and I believe in fire and brimstone hell. That's probably what I'm going to experience when I go there. But, if I'm not like brought up to believe that stuff, and, just, typical whatever, and I have a good, I've lived a good life and I believe that I don't deserve to get punished, then you're not going to be punished. And I think that the hell, okay, so I've talked to so many mediums and psychics that I always ask the question, where did Hitler go? And time and again, I'm told by all these psychics and mediums that Hitler had a role to play here. He played his role very well, but there's no, I would like to believe in an old-fashioned hell for some people, believe me. But
yeah, definitely.
But I think like it also ties into, do you believe that we make our plan for our lives before we come here? The soul contract, so to speak. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, you actually get to see your life before you come here, and you can say yes or no. So those of us that are born into this world have said yes, even before we even, I want to say even before we knew what our lives were, but we knew what it was. We knew what it was going to be, but by the time we get here and we grow up a little bit, we don't remember that. But we did, I believe, we did decide to come here and live that life, no matter how good or bad it was.
Right, but, also with the soul contract, there's, they say you say, okay, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll fall in love with my sister's husband and have an affair, and like you agree to all this stuff, right, to happen in your life. And which is like, as human beings, we can never understand what the soul is, how the soul drives. We can never understand that as human beings. And I concede to that every day, because I'm like, when I look at somebody doing something really bad, and yeah, you want to hate the person, like a child molester or some, I don't have good feelings for these people by any stretch, but there's some purpose and meaning to this. We don't know what the hell it is on this side, but perhaps we will one day, Well,
yeah, it takes a little while to understand things, and, I come from the belief that everything happens for a reason, no matter how good or bad. It's all a part of building yourself and who you are, and it's all a matter of how you take it. Like, I went through a hard life. One of my first memories was being molested at the age of 3, and then my mom being killed by a drunk driver when I was 5, and my dad abandoning us shortly after because of drinking and coke and etc. And then my aunt and uncle came in and took us into their home, which I'm happy about. I'm going to be adopted this Tuesday in Phoenix, Arizona. Everybody's like, how can you get adopted at such an old age? But we're just doing what we should have done in the first place, and we're making things right, and we're doing what we should have done. But I grow from my hardships and my good ships and whatever happens in my life. My little brother, on the other hand, likes to blame my dad for all these things, and he's not growing at all. He's still stuck in that teenage realm and, hooked on drugs, etc., and continues to blame my dad. We all make our own decisions. We all make our own life path, and we all go from that and build on that, and you can become a good person or you can continue to be a shady person, It's all a matter of what you decide to do with your life. It's nobody else's fault but yours.
Exactly. It's true. And it's like we're afraid of our own power, just like the thing in your car. It's like, we have to own that. It's like you're an adult now, and yeah, bad things happened to all of us when we were young. I don't see anyone that doesn't have some kind of hell in their own lives. But exactly like you just said, we have the free will to change our lives for the better. And you can sink or you can swim. You know what I mean? And that's it.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep swimming. That's my motto. And you know, I saw that on Dory, but it is a good motto. Just keep swimming. You got to keep going, because if you peter out and you stall, that's just that much more work you have to do. You just got to keep going, keep swimming, keep that momentum, and keep your thoughts positive, which is a big thing. Stay positive. Even if you have to rewire yourself, you know, if something's around you that's causing negative feelings or energies, stop, breathe, think, and then respond a different way besides negativity. Respond positively, and you'll be surprised how people react to that and how things will change. You just got to rewire your thinking process and what you do on a daily basis, and positivity is key. Keep it positive, because what you put out there is what you get back.
Right. And that's another thing that my guest August talked about was karma. And so what do you think of karma, Tessa?
I totally believe in karma. Karma is a B word, but I'm grateful for her being that way.
Right. Well, you know, I think that if there is karma, Tessa, like, for instance, I don't want to get political, but some people would be hanging from a tree right now if karma really existed.
Yeah, in the physical form, you'd see a lot of dangling feet, but yeah, she works in a different way, and sometimes it's immediate, and sometimes you just got to stick around and just wait for it to go into effect, and it does eventually catch up to you. Don't think, hey, things are going good for me, you know, karma must have forgot about me. No, she didn't. She's just waiting for the right time and the right place to deal out the punishment.
Right. Yeah, and I often think that if there is karma, which I have my doubts about, but because I don't think good things happen to good people, Tessa. I don't think bad things happen to bad people, from what I experienced in my lifetime. But you know what I'm saying? But I mean, so if there is no sin, if there's no sin, then there's no karma, you know? And I mean, it's just, it's just such a lengthy discussion about karma that we're not going to get into. But I mean, I don't know. You know, I mean, sometimes you'll see what we think is karma working right away, almost right away, and it'll be like, oh my God, see? but then look at yourself. It's like, what did you do wrong? Nothing. And why do sometimes bad things happen to you or I? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, like Mia's saying in the chat room, she thinks karma has no clock. And I have seen it happen immediately, like somebody does something really crappy, and then, you know, they trip and bust their face or whatever, and I kind of silently laugh, which I shouldn't, but, you know, sometimes that stuff is funny to me. And, but yeah, like, all the good people die young, and all the evil people live forever, but maybe that's because we are kind of in a hell on earth, you know, because this is kind of like hell. Like, life is hard, and there's all kinds of ugly people out there, and it's hard to find the good in life. But, you know, like Mia said, maybe there is no clock. Maybe it just happens when it's supposed to happen. And you know, I do appreciate the immediate karma, and sometimes I am angered at karma that doesn't happen when it should, but it's not up to us. It's a whole different realm of things that are going on that we aren't meant to understand, you know? We're just supposed to keep swimming and keep doing our thing and not think about it, because that is negative thought process, you know? Just let it go.
Right. And so Shar just mentioned in chat, the closer you get, hold on, it's just scrolled. The closer you get to God, the more you're attacked. I sort of agree with that, because once I did an interview with, you know who Padre Pio is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I did an article on him, because I'm an author, of course, and
a beautiful one at that, I must say.
Thank you. And so I spoke to the gentleman that took care of Padre Pio in the last years of his life, and I said, did you see him getting attacked? Because, of course, there's stories about Padre Pio getting attacked, like thrown across the room, smacked in the face by an unseen force. And this gentleman I interviewed said, I absolutely saw that happen. And it's true, because I didn't know if it was true. But so this guy told me, yeah, that's true. So I kind of think Shar might be right about that. You know what I mean? Like the more holy you are, the more you're tested, so to speak. Well,
I've also found that the more you try to help people and get rid of these dark and negative entities, the more you are attacked as well, because they're trying to scare you away from that.
Right. Right. So that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that we should be bad people. It just
No. I don't want to put that on my list of things to do, because that doesn't make me feel good. That makes me feel bad, and I don't want to feel bad. I want to feel good, and I want to be happy. And I've said so many times, I don't want to be a sad ghost stuck over here. I want to be happy and go on to wherever I'm supposed to be, whether it's, heaven and then come back when my family needs me, or astral hop, or wherever I'm meant to go in the afterlife, or wherever I want to go. Like my mom told me, she can go wherever she wants, whenever she wants. That's what I want. I don't want to be stuck in some negative, ugly, poopy place because of bad things that I've done that are keeping me behind. So I try to be a good person and do good things and lift up my fellow brethren, because I know what a bad place this is, and whatever I can give to them to make them feel better, the more that I feel better,
Right. And also there's no, people are always like, oh, she died or he died. And it's like, oh my God, how horrible. You know what? There's no crime in dying. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing bad about dying, because we all know, or I should say, you and I know, we don't die ever. We never die. And I mean, so it's like, don't look at death as being a punishment. It's a punishment for us here, perhaps. Yeah. Of course, because we miss them and all that. But certainly it's not anything, it's not like they did something wrong, so they died and all this. I mean, that's why I don't know. I just really hope that those who don't believe in life after death try to really, get used to the idea, because, it makes me sad when people don't believe in life after death. I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it does,
Yeah, I totally understand. I've, through all of my investigations and things that I've experienced since I was a little baby, knee inch high to a grasshopper or whatever, I know there's something more after life than just darkness and nothingness. And I do feel bad for those people that believe that. I'm like, how can you even think that? And it makes me wonder where they go afterwards. Is it just darkness for them, or what do they experience? But it is sad for us on the human plane, but for them it's just, you're free from your physical body and all your ailments and all the pain and suffering we go through here, and you're happy. And from what I understand, it's all love over there, love and happiness, and basically whatever you've made yourself to believe. But from what I've understood, it's just love. That's the basic understanding to me, is love. And
yes.
And I love that. But on that note, we got to go to a break. And in the third hour, we're going to come back with Corrine and Mea for some live readings. So you guys don't go anywhere, and make sure you either put it in caps or call us on our phone number here, 970-335-9596. You guys don't go anywhere.
The first annual Caribou Paracon is happening September 28th to 30th in the 108 Mile Ranch, British Columbia. Brought to you by the Canadian Society of Questers and Spaced Out Radio. Come listen to our featured speaker, Grant Cameron, along with Elizabeth Anglin, Paisley Town, Mike Moran, Eric Cooper, and more. It's a 3-day supernatural adventure at the Spruce Hills Resort and Spa. Tickets for the weekend are $150 Canadian. The Caribou Paracon, celebrating everything paranormal.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Not ready for bed on Saturday night? Right after Spaced Out Saturdays, hop on over to S4 with Corey Ruiz and me, Eric Cooper from Forest Moon Paranormal. With S4, there are no limits to what we try and uncover. From government conspiracies to helping clean up the paranormal, no topic is safe on S4. We get to the heart of the matter, of the subjects you want to learn more about. So tune in on S4 starting at midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern, only on SpacedOutRadio.com.
Hi there, I'm Butch Witkowski, lead investigator with U4 Cop. On the final Monday of every month, you can listen to me and host Dave Scott on Spaced Out Radio's Strange Days. We're going to get to the heart of the matter when it comes to what's happening out there. People are seeing and experiencing things from ET contact to Bigfoot, and I want to hear about it. Your experiences are what we investigators need to help solve these unknown mysteries. So tune in at spacedoutradio.com to the final Monday of every month from Butch Witkowski's Strange Days.
This is Eric Markham, news editor for the Spaced Out Radio's The Encounter Online. We have put together a great team of writers and journalists from all over the world to bring you top-quality paranormal stories, from alien encounters to the latest conspiracies. You won't find any of that fake news here. True stories and top-notch reporting as we look to bring these experiences to the mainstream. The Encounter Online, only at spacedoutradio.com.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Do you want to know the truth? Do UFOs exist? Are aliens real? Are the governments hiding the biggest secret in history? We're UFO seekers, and we're on a hunt for the truth. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow along with us as we journey across the United States, visiting UFO hotspots and alien hotspots, trying to document the UFO phenomenon. Catch us on Spaced Out Radio every third Monday of the month as we discuss Area 51, UFOs, and more. And also, don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube.
Hi there, this is Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and I want you to come on a nightly journey. Starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, every Monday through Friday, you can come hang out with me and the other space travelers. We have it all from Carl the Alien bouncing on by to those misfit gnomes causing havoc. It's 3 hours of fun and entertainment on those topics the mainstream really doesn't want to touch. Come get all paranormal with us at spacedoutradio.com, and together, my friends, along with our resident guitar god Bumblefoot, we own the night.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
We're lighting the void on Saturday nights on Spaced Out Radio. Hey, this is Joe Roop, and I'm hanging out in SOR headquarters every Saturday night, bringing you the latest news when it comes to the weird and strange. Bigfoot, occult, UFOs, ghosts, and everything in between, I got you covered. You can tune in to spacedoutradio.com starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern Time. Come travel into the void with us on Spaced Out Saturdays.
Tonight's show and topic of discussion do not necessarily reflect the opinion of Spaced Out Radio, SOR Media, or its hosts. Listener discretion is advised. Here comes the second hour of Spaced Out Sunday with host Tessa Nicole Thomas. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio. And you can follow Tessa on Twitter at Tessa TNT. Now, back to the show.
Hey guys, thanks so much for hanging in there and coming back with us for hour 3. Right now we're going to take some calls for a live reading. Sorry if you tried to call in during break, we weren't taking calls at that moment, but we will take your call now if you'd like to call in for a reading. We'd love to have you. We have with us Mea Savge from Four Corners Paranormal Investigations, and we also have Corrine De Winter. Thanks for being with us, ladies. It's great to have you guys.
Thank you so much.
All right, so we got a call from 402-214-3780. Caller, thanks for being with us. What's your question? Are you there?
Tessa?
Yes. Who is this?
Hi, honey. This is Sharon.
Hey, Sharon. How are you?
Sharon. Good, good. Being Mother's Day, I just wondered whatever Corrine could bring through for me. That'd be great. Or anything.
Okay, let me see. Corrine, Mea, are you still there? All right, let me add them back in.
Yeah.
Okay. Corrine, are you here? I might have lost Corrine? Let's see.
Sometimes they would have to, we'd hang up and then you call us back. Call the caller back to make it work. I don't know.
Okay, I'm trying here. Okay. Mea, you're still here, right?
Yeah, I'm here. Oh.
Sorry for that. Okay. Adding Corrine. Skype call. Corrine, are you here? I kind of feel like I'm talking to a ghost.
I know. I think you might have to call me back.
All right, well, let me write down your number really quick. You should be able to be on here, and
I know.
And for her as well,
But
I just have to add her on there, but it seems to be, once I have you and Mea and Corrine in here, it's kicking them out. So let's try this. Add to call. Okay, I see them both. Hopefully their voices will come through in just a second. Corrine, Mea, are you here? Hello?
Well, there's somebody. Was that Mea?
Mea? Yeah, I had both of them there for a second, and now it's kicking them out. Let's try this once more. Add to call. No, they're not muted, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on.
Yeah, so weird.
That is weird. What's happening?
Why don't you go ahead and try to get them on, and then you can call me back.
Okay, let me write down your number really quick. You're the 402 number?
Okay.
Is that you, right?
Yeah, 402. Yeah.
Okay, 3780. Okay, let me try to get these girls back on. Christopher, hold on a second,
All right.
and I'll get to you in a moment. Let me try to get these guys back on here, and I'll call you right back, I promise. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Trying to get this going good, but let's see. Let's get Corrine back in here. Hello. Oh, it says Mia's on hold. Okay, I hear Mea now.
Yes. Hello.
Okay. Okay, and there's Corrine. Okay.
Yes.
We're here.
Let me add one more person to this, and you guys can talk for a second if you'd like.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good explanation, Mea. Thank you.
And thank you. It's refreshing to talk to someone that understands.
Yeah. I mean, so do you find yourself not wanting to hang around with people, or I'm not saying like lifelong friends or anything, but sometimes I'm like, I don't feel like explaining what I'm into, and you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I've stepped away from a lot of people, you know?
Absolutely. It's almost like an embarrassment to most people, or it feels like it's just like, it's like it would take you 100 years to, and it's not in an egotistical way. It sounds egotistical when I say it, but it's like to get to this level of understanding, it would take you a very, very long time. And pretty much it's like talking to a brick wall, and then...
Oh my goodness.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Is this the radio show, or did I dial the wrong number?
This is the radio show, and for some reason we're having some difficulties. I'm not sure what exactly is happening. But we did have Corrine and Mea in here. And then we had a person just a second ago, and then it dumped the other guys, and so I'm not sure exactly what's happening on this, but...
Well, it's kind of like the energy in the air. I've been having trouble with my phone for months.
Okay, and what is your name?
My name is Yvonne Kaluya.
Hi, Yvonne. How are you?
Oh, I have been listening to your show, but then I forgot to sign in. I mean, into the chat room, but I have been listening to your show. I was just about 10 minutes late.
Well, I'm so glad you could be with us.
Yeah, but I've been waiting for this Sunday coming so that we could all support you.
Well, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it, and I'm sorry this call thing is like going all haywire on me.
Yeah, so you don't have any of the readers then with you?
They were, and then as soon as I pick up a call, they're gone. So I'm not exactly sure what is happening or what's working against me here, but I'm trying my darndest to get us all on the same page.
So in other words, when you accept a new call, they get cut off?
Yeah, it's like they're muted or something, and I'm not sure
so
why exactly that's happening.
So before you, maybe it's the hold button. Do you need to put the them on hold as you receive the other caller?
Well, I just noticed that Mea, when I clicked on her, she was on mute.
Yeah.
And then so I could hear her again, I could hear Corrine, but now I'm not hearing them again, and it's saying call failed up here. So this is quite strange. Like, this is not how it should be working. But I'm still trying. Let's see. Maybe you could go ahead and ask your question, and they can hear it, and then they can respond.
Right. Let's do it that way, because then, rather than, tying up the phone and maybe that's creating a problem. My question is, I'm wanting to get in touch with my paternal great-grandmother. She is the Filipino shaman in my heritage. The question I have for her, the experiences and the information that I have been able to discern of what has, that I have received so far, am I on the right track?
Okay.
That's what I want, and I can't, go into detail because it's private, so to speak.
Yeah, I totally understand. All right.
Yeah.
And did you have a specific person you wanted to ask, or did you want feedback from both these ladies, or how would you like to do that?
Whoever feels called to answer that, because because it's it's kind of like a loaded question that I'm answering the question, for me to receive the information. But I've been working on it since 2006.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tessa.
Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you so much for coming in tonight.
Yeah, okay. I hope they can answer it. You know what I mean? Take care, baby.
Thank you. And we'll get
Mahalo
right to your question.
Keokua.
Mahalo. Your beautiful soul.
Take care, baby. Thank you.
Have a good night. Okay, let's see here. Mea, Corrine. Okay, so pause. Let's see what we're doing here. Let's call her. Wow, it's just totally giving me the standstill. Mea. Resume call.
It's like you're cheating on a test.
Okay.
Right.
All right, I can hear both of you guys now. How weird.
Wonderful.
Okay, so we had Yvonne in, and did you hear her question?
No.
She was wondering if there was a message from her paternal great-grandmother, and she wants to know, am I on the right track?
Am I on the right track? Okay. Ooh, that one came out.
And she said whoever got the message to please respond.
Okay.
I got a quick one, and it says love begins. Does she have a love interest?
That's a good question.
Does she have a love interest of balance and love interest is what I have received. Quickly.
Okay, and Yvonne, if you're still listening, go ahead and respond in the chat room and let us know if she's on the right track. And Corrine, did you get anything off of that?
Well, I was just telling Mea before you unmuted us that I had an old woman standing here. Well, no, not standing here.
She just said that. She did just say that.
I see her in my mind. She's got, she kind of looks like a typical older woman. She's got curly gray hair, glasses. I think she wore glasses sometime. I want to say, I shouldn't get into names because I could guess all night probably, but I see a G name. But I also get the overwhelming feeling with Yvonne that she needs to take her own power, and that what stops her, blocks her from progressing in a lot of things is simply that she does not believe in herself as she should. And that's the message I also get from this old woman saying, she knows better. She knows better. She's got to own she's not saying this, but I'm saying essentially she's saying she's got to own her own power and she has to move forward, and she will. Also something to do with dandelions. I'm not sure what the dandelions mean. Anyway, that's what I got.
Awesome. I have something about balancing something. I don't know if it's like balancing careers or balancing I don't know why I'm seeing like clouds, something balancing balancing, something about balancing balancing life choices, balancing. Maybe she's putting too much effort into something and not enough in something else. It's like if she wants to know if she's on the right path, maybe she's trying a little bit too hard and pushing in a direction, whether it's her love or her could be a love life or a career, but she's pushing too hard in one direction is what I got.
Okay.
And that's the message that I got. She's pushing too hard in one direction. She needs to open herself up. And then I have hope and strength. Like she needs to she needs hope and strength. That's a balance in itself. So maybe that's what she needs to balance, is her hope and her strength, and she's maybe doubting herself in one direction, but she needs to be able to balance both lightly instead of pushing forward in one direction so harshly. I see her pushing harshly in some direction, and it's like sometimes it creates an obstacles. If you're pushing too hard in your career, too hard in your love life, too hard in something else, it creates problems because life flows. It's a flow of water. You want it to flow. You don't want it to be like a tsunami in one watery direction. You want it to be like flowing calmly. And I feel like she's just pushing really hard. Maybe she's being hard on herself. I'm not sure.
Well, Yvonne just responded in the chat room and she said, Tessa, not path, but information I received from her is correct. Okay. And then Craig in the chat room is saying, what is the most important thing for me to hear right now?
Oh, he's got some financial
I was going to say that too, Mea.
Changes.
That's weird.
He's got some financial changes, and it actually looks very positive. I don't know if he's in a business venture or something. I feel like something very positive financially is happening.
Nice.
I'm seeing like it sounds weird, but like jewelry, and I'm seeing trees, and that could be partially connected to me and the jewelry thing that I'm in right now. But sometimes the energy gets mixed up. But I see some like I feel like whatever he's doing is right. I see like a big bright, kind of like a sun, like whatever. I see like a giant, like whatever he's doing is right, and I feel like it's more towards financial. I'm not sure if that's correct, but that's what I'm getting.
Yeah, I feel like he's worried about finances right now. And it's good to hear what Mea said about that. So hopefully that makes some sense. I
also think whatever he's doing, he should stand his ground. If he's going through a conflict right now, he should stand his ground. Whatever he truly believes right now is that he, in his gut feeling, he should go with it, and he should just stand his ground. He's doing the right thing. Everything looks positive. Whatever he's doing, he's on a foundation right now of some kind, whether it's financial or something. his ideas are correct, basically, is what I'm getting.
He says, "Nice. I'm working part-time now, and it's been liberating."
Okay.
Can I ask, does Craig know a Rose? Can I ask him that?
Craig, do you know a Rose?
Sorry, I know it's hard with chat and stuff. It's like...
Yeah, it's a kind of stalled as far as, like, our time is a little off from theirs.
Right, yeah. So we'll just leave that. Okay, so go ahead. Sorry.
Let's see. I'm trying to get a hold of Christopher Wayne on here, and I believe Shar is the one. Oh, he said Rose is his mother.
Okay,
Wow.
thank you. She's okay, right, Craig?
Craig, how's your mom? Is she okay? Is she doing all right? Or what's going on with Rose? What's going on with your mama? I hope you spoiled her on Mother's Day. Or at least sent some love and light her way if she's on the other side. Waiting a couple minutes on that.
Well, I think that I heard that because I'm not sure, but I'm just going to put this out there. I think that he needs to... I'm not telling you what to do, Craig. She's on the other side. Yvonne's got a mother, Rose, too. Depends on your idea of okay. All right, so, Craig, what I'm saying to you is I'm hearing that for a reason, and I think the reason is because you need to pay more attention to her. I'm just saying that. I'm just putting that out there. I think that that's the reason I heard it.
Christopher, are you on the line?
Yes, ma'am.
Yay! It worked, and I didn't disconnect anyone. No one was muted.
Wonderful.
Woohoo! All right, Chris, what was your question?
I would like to know that with all the work I'm doing to contact ancestors, why do sometimes I have to fight for this?
Why do you have to fight for this?
Yeah, he's been making contact on the other side, and he's had entities work against him, and he's had a hard time with it. Entities attacking him and causing, like, computer crashes and all kinds of other crazy things. And he feels like he's basically working against the current, and he's wondering, why does he have to work so hard to get in touch with his family on the other side and on this side?
What I have is light. What I'm feeling from you is I'm feeling a little bit of fear. I feel like and frustration, and I feel like, and this is what happened to me quite a bit. When I wanted them to be there, first of all, there's no sense of time on the other side. So if you're wanting to contact them and you're expecting immediate results, it can create a lot of frustration, and it can kind of take you into a spiral of negativity. If you continue with your daily life and you continue to be positive, they will come to you, and it will be big messages when you least expect it, because they hear you. They hear you, but they can't always be there. The timing out there is, and this is what I learned from my deceased, ancestors and whatnot. It's like when I really wanted them to be there, sometimes it's not immediate. And also, believe it or not, they're also tending to other, do you have a sister or a female in your life? Sister? Okay. So they are around her. So whoever is around, I see about 4 or 5 people actually around you, and their timing is different, and you're so focused on bringing them in, and their vibrations are very, very high. Is your sister in some kind of trouble? Is she going through a divorce or something?
She's very estranged from her family.
She's okay. Okay, so I feel a separation of some kind, and they're kind of coddling around her, but I get a feeling like she's not really listening. And you're asking, you want to hear them, you want to talk to them. Their timing is a complete different, I can't say it's 10,000 trillion million times faster than us, but slower at the same time. There is a delay depending on the vibration that you are at. If you bring up your vibration and you try to forget about them, not forget about them, just continue on and be positive, they will come to you when you least expect it. And it'll be like a bolt of lightning. They will be there for you. It's just you're not in a spot right now. And even if you were, you're not in a very, very dark place right now. I'm just sensing like you're frustrated because you really want to talk to them. And
that's going to block.
They're going to come
too.
to you.
Yeah. Mea, I was going to say that's going to block them when you're so wanting to contact them, but you're like, you're frustrated. Oh my God, all this stuff starts happening and to prevent you. But you got to roll with it. And I know that's hard to do. But that's what you got to do, But
they'll be there, and they will make their presence known.
Mm-hmm.
They will make their presence known, but they can't always just come to you. I feel like someone else around you is struggling, and they're around them. This has happened to me before, where they're around a different family member, and that family member's not listening to them, but they're protecting them. You don't really need protection right now, but you're frustrated and you're sad and you're feeling kind of a little bit of an emptiness. They will come back to you, and it will be like a bolt of lightning. They will have a sign, whether it's a license plate, a song, just a moment, like a rainbow, something. However, sometimes you'll feel a touch, you'll smell a euphoric smell, and they will be there. But right now you are not in a time of need, and this other person is a little bit in a time of need, and they're kind of trying to get their attention and covering them and protecting them, whether she knows it or not. They're protecting her. But they will come back to you, and who knows when. I mean, their time is different, but I mean, it's not going to be long from now. I mean, I wouldn't give it more than 2 or 3 weeks. You will feel a bam, like a lightning bolt, and they will be right there, and you will know exactly when they will hit you.
I have a feeling it will be soon, because I've been doing ghost spots with one of our program folks here on SOR, and I've had interesting responses that were correct and stuff like that. And I'm the only one in the household that listens to spirits. Everybody else don't.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks so much, Christopher, for calling in, and I hope we were able to help you.
You wait for it, and you mark my words. They will be there, and you will know it. I already feel it. I can feel it like it's crazy.
Have a good night, Christopher.
Thank you, Tessa. Bye.
You're welcome, Christopher. Have a good night. Okay, so I have a couple questions in the chat room. First one is from Eric Markham, aka Preach, and he is saying, is moving to Washington the right thing to do, and how should I do it?
I think that sorry, Mea, I don't want to interrupt you. I think Eric should move to Washington.
Me too.
And I get a really, really good feeling, like, I don't know, the surrounding, everything is going to inform you to a greater degree of being happy. I mean, everything in the surrounding there. It's, I know he's probably torn about moving, but there's something, I don't know. It's like, he
there's
almost
an obstacle.
belongs there. Yeah, he belongs
there. There's an
there,
obstacle.
though.
There's one obstacle, but he belongs there. In the ultimate answer, I feel like there's one obstacle, but it will be overcome because he's meant to be there. That's what I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. I have another question here from Joseph, and he says, I've been meditating consistently this year, but I don't feel I've made progress to communicating with my higher self. Am I doing something wrong? Do you have any insights for me?
Well, let me just say, there's nothing you can't do. You can't make a wrong move with this stuff. Okay, so no, you're not doing anything wrong to connect with your higher self. You are already connected with your higher self. All of us are. So I think that much like the Christopher situation of him wanting to contact his ancestors, you're also like, you're looking for this. You're like, that expression, a watched pot never boils, a watched pot of water never boils. It's kind of like the same thing.
You'll never find it. You'll never find it if you're looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm getting. But I'm getting that he is going to be rewarded. You will be rewarded in some form. Can I ask what your goal, what is his goal on meditation? Is it to contact?
It sounds like he's just trying to find his higher self and open up, more windows and.
He's doing it. That's my answer. He's doing, because that's what I get. I was going to say, if he's meditating and he's trying to talk to the other side, that's not necessarily. I mean, meditation is wonderful, but that doesn't open up necessarily the doors all the time to the other side. But I'm getting that he's getting recognized. Something, his higher self. He's getting recognized. He's right now. He's in a kind of a plateau, but he's right there. Like he's right there, and he's going to get a reward for doing so. I see a reward.
And I just want to add for Joseph, if he can answer this, blue and yellow have to do with your school colors or something. I see something blue and yellow by you. It's like bright blue and bright yellow. I know, like I come out with these non sequiturs all the time. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay, Tessa. I don't want to delay things, so.
I see a male. I see a middle-aged male. That's the way he looks to me. Might not be who he is.
What happened? He's saying what happened. What does that mean? Middle-aged male, like Mea said.
Was he like I see like, I don't know if it's a soldier or someone who was fiery. I see a fiery personality. Kind of a fiery personality.
Oh, shoot. He didn't even hear us, you guys. He said it went mute.
Oh, no. They said they sensed a middle-aged male, fiery, and no, show went silent on my end. Caden, go ahead and try to refresh that. That happens sometimes in Spreaker. I'm not sure why exactly it does that, but it does. Hopefully you get the message. Let's see. Did you guys get anything else from him? Just fiery, middle-aged soldier?
Okay. Well, I got the name Robert. I don't know why. With him.
Okay, so far we got Robert, Middle-aged male, soldier.
I'm getting not necessarily a soldier. It's just kind of like that type of a personality. I'm getting maybe a different race or a different culture. Someone from a different culture. And I'm not sure what culture that is. Interesting.
Okay.
Perhaps I don't want to say an ex-lover, but
yeah, I get a young girl actually.
A young girl.
Yeah,
Is it a
like
young girl,
like in her 20s. You know what I mean? She's. I don't know if this makes sense, Caden, but she's middle-aged. She's kind of short, maybe 5'5" or so. But I think no. All right, maybe it's a guy. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm getting a younger person with a fiery personality. Maybe they were cultured, maybe they traveled, maybe they have like I don't know. This is an interesting one.
And here's the thing: when you're looking for people, you could have people that you don't even remember meeting. Just some, or you might remember meeting them, but they're going to be very faint. And
True.
it's like
They
we
pop
meet
in.
so many. Yeah, totally. We meet so many people in our lifetime that we can't possibly remember all of them. But yeah, okay.
I will say that before, I'm not sure who we're going to talk to tonight, but I've had some dreams the past few nights that were pregnancy dreams. One of them contained twins, and one of them they were younger boys and they were alive. And then somebody is concerned about a pregnancy that I think did not go through or something like that. I had two different pregnancy ones. I'm not sure if they're going to be on tonight or not, but you never know where this is coming from. But two consecutive nights about pregnancy dreams, and sometimes they're symbolic. But
hopefully you're not pregnant with twins.
No. Well, that was the weird thing. Like the pregnant with twins one wasn't me in the dream. It was a friend of mine. So that's another whole deal. But I still feel like one of them has to do with somebody, had a last pregnancy that is either present listening. And I'm pretty positive of this. It was like a where did they go, and what, did I do something wrong? And there's someone out there that kind of feels that way, that I knew that was connected to this. I picked up on that a couple of days ago. I'm not sure who that was.
Yeah, and it could even be, one of those pregnancies from aliens where they impregnate you and then they take the fetuses, and then you have signs of a miscarriage, but you don't have everything, coming out that should. And, it's weird how that stuff happens.
I know how that stuff happens very, very, very well.
Go ahead.
I keep getting this page of
Caden. Caden's saying him and his wife are trying to get pregnant, but it still hasn't taken. Yeah,
that's
twins.
What it is. Okay. Well, no, I'm not sure if it's twins, but there was this one where it was like they thought they were pregnant, and then they were all ready for it, and then it didn't happen. And in that dream, it was myself. But I know when I'm in myself with my dreams, usually I'm in someone else's body. And it wasn't connected to me. I swear.
See, he was told they would be twins too, Mea.
Oh, wow.
So maybe they were connected, and they were boys, actually. And that's crazy. I had two consecutive dreams that were about that, and that was like the strong focal point. Like that was the only like very clear message that I got. Very vivid dreams, which I only get if they're very, very important, and that was the important ones. And it was like, but they didn't exist almost, or like maybe they weren't ready. You know, the souls weren't ready or something. It was nothing really negative. It wasn't even I didn't feel that tragic feeling at all. It was just like it was prepared for, and then it didn't happen. And it wasn't as tragic as you would feel like it would be if it was like a miscarriage or something like that. But they were two boys, and I saw them, and they were both riding tricycles, and they were very mischievous little boys. That's the one that I keep picking up. They were redheads. They were redheads, and that it was very strange. But I can't say strange.
Yeah, I like that message.
Yeah, they were two boys, identical, by the way, not fraternal, definitely identical.
Okay, well, we have another question here, moving along, from Sandra, and she asks, after the last ghost box session, I feel like I was jumped, or was that just sleep paralysis?
Sleep paralysis, as we were speaking about with schizophrenia, I don't want to scare any of our listeners or anyone. I pretty much... I will probably kick myself in the head for saying this later, but I pretty much think sleep paralysis is fake.
Really?
What I mean is I think that diagnosis is fake. I think sleep paralysis is actually something else. I do believe it is possible to be half asleep and half awake and be paralyzed. But there's another form of sleep paralysis where it feels like there's a vacuum on top of you and it's sucking the life out of you, or you're being thrown around the room and you can't move. There's different forms. So I do believe it's possible for you to be awake and your body be paralyzed. I've had that happen before. But when it feels like the life is being sucked out of you, I truly believe that that's a paranormal phenomenon. And, I'll get a lot of, probably people that disagree with me, but I've had so many different forms of it, and some of it it was not your typical form. I think that sleep paralysis I think it's a psychic attack. I think it's an attack on your psyche. I think it's your body is trying to, when you go to sleep, you astral project. You astral travel to different dimensions. So when you are in that halfway state, I think that if something is trying to get in your body, it's your body's natural way or your soul's natural way of hanging on. So you're safe, because I think you're protected in your sleep. And nothing will happen in sleep paralysis. It's very terrifying, but basically you get stuck in that state, which is a bad place to be. It's really bad. It's like you're in the tides of the ocean and you can't do anything about it. I think I can't always say that there's going to be a being there that's trying to take over your body. That's too far-fetched. But I think that it's when you're halfway astral projecting, and something goes wrong. So I don't think it's a real diagnosis. I think that you're awake for some reason. Something wakes you up. Something in your brain tells you something's not right, and you wake up and you get paralyzed because your soul is leaving your body to travel somewhere, and something is not right. I almost feel like you wake up and that's your protection. You're like, okay, so it's not time to do this yet. Nothing really bad, I don't think, that can happen to you. But I've had that happen after a UFO convention. I've had that happen with ETs and visiting me in my room multiple times. And so, and they say with sleep paralysis you have delusions, and it's not delusions. I think that you're going to astral project like you normally would when you go to sleep, and there's something there that is stopping you from doing so that can't harm you on this realm. So you need to get back into this realm so it can't harm you.
Okay, if there's nothing more on that, Greg has a question. Is there any messages for me from my family on the other side.
You say Greg?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think Greg needs to speak up about something. I think he's holding in something. He needs to speak up with someone. And that has nothing to do with the other side, but that's a personal.
Okay, I'm looking here. Shar, I believe that was the first person that called me this evening, and I wasn't able to get back a hold of you. So if you could go ahead and please, Shar, ask your question in the chat room, or try back on Skype. I think we have that figured out. I'm not sure exactly what was going on with that. I haven't done anything differently. But yeah, it's weird how sometimes I feel like it's paranormal when stuff like this happens and I'm not doing anything differently and it's just messing with me, and maybe it's messing with you. But Shar, if you do have your question, go ahead and try us back on Skype or go ahead and do it in the chat room. Adnome says, will I figure this chat out? Oh, Shar's trying to call back right now. Let's get to Andy's question here in just a minute, and let's get Shar on here.
Okay.
Hi, Shar, are you there? Wow. I see Shar's number on our screen. Resume call.
Hi, did it
Shar?
work?
Yes, it did.
Shar.
You're here.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Oh, yeah, great. Thanks. I figured it might be easier if you could hear my voice to be able to pick up on anything that's going on. Anybody from the other side.
Are you going through some troubles right now, Shar? Some.
Oh yeah.
Big ones.
Yes.
Big ones.
Yes.
Huge. Almost
Yes.
feel devastating, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just know that, trust me, it's a sucky place to be, but you will be so much higher on the totem pole once they're over, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Are they financial
if I
troubles?
get through it.
Is it financial?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I actually see something positive financially for you, ironically, but I feel something negative that's going through right now. It's almost in the past. It's in the near past. Like you're almost out of it, but it's drained you, and you're like, I can't handle anymore. If another, the hits keep. I can't handle if there's one more. I can't handle it. But there's actually going to be a big wave. Big wave of something very positive. And you lost someone. You're trying to contact someone specifically. I know that. Specific.
Right.
You have one person. Is it a female?
Yeah, two. My
Two.
mother.
Okay. I was gonna say she's very strong.
my
I'm seeing
son.
and your
Yes.
son. Your son. Okay.
Yes.
Your son. Was your
So-
was?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
Mia.
you go ahead.
No,
Go right
I was
ahead.
going to say, I know Shar a little bit, and I just want to say, Shar, the lilac tree in your backyard,
Yes.
it's blooming, right?
Yes.
Okay, so just like that tree is alive and has color and scent and is beautiful, your son is too, right? And he planted that for you. He planted that for you.
Yeah, we did it together.
Right.
There's another bush, Corrine, that he planted, and it was blooming, but it's a different type.
Was your son?
But he did plant that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, honey.
I'm getting a Chad or a Charlie. Chad, Charlie, something like
that. My grandfather.
Your grandfather.
My grandfather's name is Charlie.
Charlie. And he's a really nice guy.
I've never met him.
Really?
He died before I was born.
Oh,
but he's kind of my guardian.
Cool. No, he's cool.
Yeah,
I like him. He's the one I'm like talking. I was like, it's like a CH Charlie Chad CHA. Yes, he is very sweet, and he loves you very much, and he likes. I think I want to say he was like a Leo or something. He's got a very shininess about him. Oh no, I think he may have been like an Aries or a Capricorn. Was he kind of a powerful guy?
You know, honey, I never met him. He died before I was born.
Okay.
But my mother.
Well, he's around you for sure.
I would have. My mother says that if he had lived, I would have had anything I wanted. He was born in January. 1st of January.
Capricorn. I knew it. Okay, so I was going to say, so Capricorn is basically, yes. He's a Capricorn. I knew it. I got that just authority, but he's very serious, but he's got a very good heart, and he's around you a lot.
That's neat.
Yeah, he's cool. I am very close with Capricorns, and it's very interesting that he's coming through because a lot of Capricorns are not as spiritual as males, especially older males.
Yeah. Did you say you felt my mother?
Your mother? I did.
Yeah.
I did feel a female presence.
Okay.
That's so awesome, and I
Any
love
advice
how.
from them?
Let's see, female presence. Was your mother born in September?
No.
What was her month?
March.
March. Oh, March. Okay. She must be the Aries then. Was it late March?
No. She's Pisces.
She's a Pisces? That must...
My son was Aries.
Oh, that's the Aries. Okay. Got it. What color was his hair?
Dark.
Okay.
Dark
Do you
brown.
mind if I ask how he passed?
He was killed. He was murdered.
Murdered. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see here. Can I ask his name?
Jared.
Was he married?
No, but he was going to propose.
Yeah, he had a serious
Yeah.
girlfriend. He was very involved with her. I was going to say, I don't think he was married with her.
No, but he was going to propose.
She's a nice girl.
Yeah, she's married now.
She's married now. Okay. Is she kind of a businesswoman now? Kind of a businessy woman-ish? Do you know?
She? No, not really. No. That's my mother, my daughter. And my daughter's a professional.
Okay. I have two women here, and one of them is kind of flighty, kind of emotional, which that must be her. And then I have one that's very businesslike. Okay, so Jared.
Yeah, my daughter's a professional.
And just know, Shar, because we're kind of running out of time here, you can contact either Coco or Mea personally on Facebook or here in the chat room, because I do feel like there is more for you, but I feel like we're running out of time, and we do have more questions. So, Mea, if you can make a note of that and contact Shar. I believe she's in my friend's contacts, so we can get back a hold of you and do a better job for you, because I know you need it so badly. But I do want to move on and help some other people as well. But don't give up, because we do have you in our sights, and we will, get back a hold of you and get the rest of this message to you. And I'm so glad you got through tonight. I was so stressing on that. I was like, I lost her and I can't get back a hold of her. But I'm so glad we did.
I'm so sorry.
You have so much coming through. It's crazy. It's like there's so much that needs to be expressed, but it's so hard and so little time with so many things coming through.
I know.
I've never experienced that. So.
Yeah, I'll give that to Mea. She's part of my team.
Phone number, just give me a call.
Yeah, you guys should totally hook up and get the rest of that reading, because I know there's a lot there, and but I do know we have more people in the chat room, so don't feel defeated.
Okay.
We will get back to you, and we love you, Shar, and, stay positive.
Thank you, honey.
No worries.
Thank you, Coco.
Happy Mother's Day.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good night. Okay, so then we had Andy asking a very open-ended question. Will I ever get... First he said shat, and then he said shart together. I don't know. I think that's all on him, but do you guys have anything for Andy, Adnome?
Yeah, I say yes, I'll get through the shit. Whatever. What's next?
Okay. Joseph was coming through again. I'm very intellectual and cerebral. What can I do to be more emotional, intuitive? I am trying to be more balanced in my life. Should I be a part of an esoteric school?
I think getting in connections with people that are intuitive naturally brings out your awareness. I know that there are people that have been more aware than myself that have brought my vibration higher. So I think it is who you surround yourself by. If you're working around or being around people that are not that way, it's a positive thing, but there's a lot of things you can do just being on your own, being in nature. Look up things online, look up astrology. Astrology is a really good eye opener. That's a good beginner's tool to kind of open yourself up. You do like one of those birth chart calculators, and then you put your whole birth date. And if you have the time, good. If you don't, that's okay. That's just your rising sign. It's important, but it's okay. And then you can kind of that'll kind of just bring you into it. And you're like, okay, wow, that totally describes me. And you can kind of just move from there. Things like that you can do.
Yeah, and I have actually a book. If he sends me his address, I have this great book. In fact, Eric just mentioned the author, Manly P. Hall. And it's this book that's like 800 pages long, but it's phenomenal. It's got so much information in it. If you give me your address, I will send it to you. And
yeah,
you will really enjoy that. So it's like I say, when people ask these kind of questions, keep reading. Read the old text more than the new text, because the old information seems to be way more accurate and enlightening than new stuff for me. Because the new stuff coming out now is like, it's a rehash, it's regurgitation of everything that has already been written. Get those old texts, read them, and, you'll get there, believe me.
Thank you so much, guys. Corrine, Mea, you guys are awesome. Thanks so much for helping everyone out and being here tonight. It was an epic show. I think it's a good kickoff for us on our Sunday nights, and I'd love to have both of you guys back sometime.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I would love that.
so much information coming in. I've never done anything like this where it's so quick, but I really hope in the future, that we can master this, and it's been amazing talking to both of you.
Heck yeah, I'm so excited, and I'm so glad you guys joined me. Like, you guys were the first two that came to mind, and I'm glad it worked out the way I hoped it would. And happy Mother's Day if you guys are mothers. If not, happy Women's Day, and thank you so much again for coming out. And if you have any links or anything you'd like to share really quick, that'd be awesome.
Okay, thanks so much, Tessa. I really appreciate it.
All right, you gals have a good night. Thank you so much.
I love you both.
I love you too. Have a great night. Thank you so much to my guests, and thank you to everyone in SOR, Facebook, Spreaker, Twitter, wherever else you may be listening in the universe. I had a wonderful time. It was a pleasure, literally and figuratively. I can't wait to do it again next Sunday on Spaced Out Sundays here at spacedoutradio.com. Until next time, nighty-night, love and light to all my space cases. I really do love you guys as family. And don't forget, we are all in this together. Together we can make the world a little better. And together, my friends, we own the night. You guys have a great evening. Happy Mother's Day again to all of you mothers out there. And for all of you guys doing the mama's job, I know there's some of you out there that are taking that part on. You guys sleep well and have an epic evening. And thank you so much for being with me tonight on my first show. You guys all made this happen, and I'm so appreciative for you. Remember, together we own the night. Have a good night, everyone.